of sleep last night. I got a shitload of sleep last night.
You're very awake today.
I got like 7 hours of sleep last night.
That's a lot for you.
Which is like an hour and a half more than what I normally get. So
yeah.
And I'm like fully caffeinated. I didn't like start drinking coffee right when you got here. I started drinking coffee like an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
So I got 7 hours of sleep. We got a lot of coffee in me. We got a big banger of a show. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for yet another Rage Select podcast right here on Rage Select. I'm Jeff.
I'm Mike.
And before we get started, Michael, you want to talk about anime?
Sure.
You talk about anime a little bit?
Of course.
Because I think this trailer came out last week, like the day that we were recording, but there is a trailer for the Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 film with a release date.
Oh, is that the whole title? I thought it kept going.
Oh no, it doesn't keep going. Well, okay, so like this shit is ridiculous. This shit is goddamn ridiculous because okay, a million years ago, Hideaki Anno made Evangelion. It ended. It was unsatisfying. He made the end of Evangelion. That happened, and it technically is the end.
Yeah,
but
that was
like,
the ending. Supposed to be at least.
You wouldn't know unless you like played a bunch of like Game Boy games and like PS2 games and like bought this book that was only available in Japanese. You would have no idea what the fuck was going on.
That sounds about right.
So years later, they decided that they were going to go ahead and remake the whole thing as a series of movies. 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 is called Evangelion 3.0. You can parentheses not redo. I think the second one was called You Can Not Advance or something like that. And they condensed like the first two movies condensed like the entire series into two 2-hour movies. But then at the end of the second one, things started getting really weird, and then 3 got fucking bonkers bananas. So the name of the fourth movie is 3.0 plus 1.0, and I'm like, Anno, come on, man. I know you're Japanese and shit, but like, that's ridiculous.
That's a stupid name.
That's ridiculous.
Get into some weird Kingdom Hearts ass territory with their names.
Yes, 3.0 plus 1.0 divided by 365 melody plus rebirth. Yeah.
3D.
So 3.0 came out in 2012.
Fuck, that was that long ago?
8 years ago. And then that motherfucker got depressed like he does. And then that motherfucker went and made Shin Godzilla, which I like.
That's amazing.
But like there was a one point where Matt was like, make Shin Godzilla 2. And I was like, no, Matt Frank, it is my turn to get the end of the thing. I've been waiting my entire life because I started watching Evangelion when it was released on VHS tapes in like 98.
Sounds about right.
And then there was also that leak that said that like it's possible this might be 6 hours long.
Oh my god! Ain't nobody got that much depression time.
there was like some kind of tweet that had a bunch of information, and then at the bottom it had like basically a time code that was like 5 hours and 56 minutes and a number of seconds, and people are like, "What does that mean? Does
Maybe
that mean
that's why it's
hours?
plus the thing or whatever." It's a movie and another movie together.
It's like three movies all smashed together.
What if he just did the thing where he put part 3 and part 1 together and nobody noticed?
No, he did that with End of Evangelion where they contracted part. Never mind. It doesn't matter.
I was kidding, by the way.
I feel like there's one thing when I watch this that I feel really bad for anybody because you know how Netflix put out Evangelion, right?
Yeah.
And
with the new dub and everyone was upset.
But I feel like they put out Evangelion and that people might have watched it for the first time, been like, oh, this is really interesting. Oh, there's this new movie coming out. And then they watch this trailer and they're just like, what the fuck? What is going on?
That's definitely what's happening to some people, probably.
Did you watch it? Did you watch Evangelion?
I watched it years ago.
Do you know at all what's going on in this trailer? Does it make any sense whatsoever to you?
Well, because it's been so long. Like the last time the last time they came out with that other movie was 8 years ago. Yeah. And that was when I watched that one movie, and that was 8 years ago.
Asuka's got like an eye patch. There's like some random girl in there that nobody knows.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of rainbow battleship shit. And
I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
I barely understood Evangelion to begin with.
I'm excited though because it's coming out in January.
Really? Is there a date for it, or an exact date, or just January?
January 21st, I believe. Yeah, or no, 23rd, and that's in Japan.
Oh, okay.
So
it won't be out here for a little bit.
I bet at some point it'll come out in 2021. But yeah, it'll take a little time.
If we're lucky, it'll be like Dragon Ball Super, where it was all very close to each other.
If you get a review copy of this, you need to let me come to your house and watch it because ain't nobody knows more about this horse shit than I do.
Just ask Chris if it pops up. Be like, I want in on this shit.
Like, I actually know what happens at the end of Evangelion. It took me 10 years, but I understand exactly what happened at the end of that movie.
I read the ancient texts and I figured it out finally.
Right. But I wanted to say that if anybody out there would like to watch some anime that is not coming in the future, but that is happening right now, last week I started watching 2 new animes. One of them is the new shonen one, Jujutsu Kaisen on Crunchyroll.
Oh, okay.
Which is basically like, stop me if you've heard this plot, Michael. A guy suddenly figures out there's a larger world than the one he knows and has to go to a special school that deals specifically with that type of power that has awakened suddenly in him, and he seems to be a chosen one that can do stuff that nobody else has done.
Talking about Ruby?
I'm talking about every single fucking anime.
I don't know the plot of Ruby.
I know
there's a school in it.
Is there a school in Dragon Ball?
No.
Do you have to go to Dragon School?
Well, I guess if I'm training with Orochi, it's not really a school so much as an old guy asking him to get porn mags for him.
That's not no. Because I'm like that's what happened in that's what happened in Academia.
That's Academia.
That's what happened in
Naruto starts in a school, but it's not the same.
Food Wars, right?
Food Wars.
It's totally that. Gata High School is kind of that in one season. Except, Gata High School is like, it starts in high school and then immediately goes to the tournament arc that would have been in the second season.
Well, it happens.
But this one's all about curses, and it's like super horror themed. So there's like a bunch of monsters, and he's going to like curse academy where the people that fight curses are cursed themselves, and it's got a
they're not just like yelling out swear words at each other.
It's for It's for people with Tourette's. No, that's insensitive. No, it doesn't have anything to do with actual cursing. It's like people have curses, and only people with curses can see evil curses, and they can fight them. It's got more of a like it to me. It's like, okay, I got my kind of shonen cherry popped with the superhero shonen, and then I moved over to the food shonen, and now it's like we're gonna do the horror shonen.
Those are very rare, by the way.
I mean, I like the fact that there's not a lot of I haven't watched a lot of the monster. I'm trying to think of the last time that I watched like an actual horror themed anime.
The closest thing, the last one I watched, I guess, is the first chunk of JoJo, because it's very much about vampires and like otherworldly things.
Like Death Note kind of has a little bit of
Death Note is very much a weird horror idea.
Horror thriller.
Yeah, it's a horror thriller, I think.
But I'm trying to think of like the last time that there was one that was just like monsters, because this has like, I feel like this kind of has some Resident Evil vibes with like weird looking crazy.
I feel like Berserk tended to be that one.
I know what it is. I guess it technically is horror, even though horror. Would you consider Mob Psycho 100 to be horror? There's like a lot of monsters and shit in there.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Ghosts.
It's the same, like, because Mob Psycho 100 is closer to Ghostbusters than anything.
Yeah,
which people call a horror comedy.
Okay,
I think because it does have horror. Like, for a lot of people, horror things don't have to actually be scary.
Right,
they just have to deal with supernatural things.
Yeah. And then I also watched one episode before I got too drunk. I couldn't watch two of this new one that's on Funimation and Hulu called Akudama Drive. That's like, this one's different because it's a sci-fi thing, and it's like in the future. And the main character is just this girl that accidentally gets hooked up with like these 6 futuristic mega criminals or something. She like lies her way out of getting murdered by mega criminals in the future.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, okay, I can deal with that, because we were talking about this last time we were here. I haven't seen like a futuristic anime in a while.
Also, it has been in ages, really. They used to be everywhere.
Yeah, so this is kind of like cyberpunky. I'm gonna give it a shot. I mean, I only watched one episode and it was okay. It's just got a very different feel than a lot of the other stuff. So if you wanna watch some of those, you can watch those. And by the way, all credit where credit is due. I pretty much get all of my anime recommendations off of the Mother's Basement YouTube channel. He does like. Here's the new fall anime that's coming out, and he'll watch like one episode of all of them and be like, this one has potential, this one seems like it's going to be pretty good. And half of them I don't watch because it's like, if you're looking for a slice of life drama about cheesecake, and I'm like, nope.
Do you like high schoolers? No. Why would you think I would like such a thing?
I only watch when the high schoolers are fighting like curses or superheroes or food.
No,
like they have to be doing something. They can't just be like, do you want to, senpai, do you want to come to fucking origami club with me? I'm like, no, get it the fuck out of here.
I've gotten too old to be comfortable with like slice of life romance high schoolers
with 16-year-olds
because they're like, I'm 14. I'm like, I don't want to. I gotta go. Yeah. But speaking of anime, real quick, I watched the new Lupin III movie.
Oh, there you go.
Lupin III, the first, I think is what it's called.
That's not confusing. Is it 3? Is it 3 plus 1.0? Is that
no? Luckily not. I think I was trying to figure out why it was called that for a while. I think it's because it's the first 3D version of it.
Okay,
and it's absolutely fucking gorgeous.
I have never watched any of those. Have you watched some of the previous movies or because it was a series, right?
Yeah, it's
mutated into movies.
If Japan loves anything more than Dragon Ball, it's fucking Lupin the Third.
Yeah,
which is why Lupin the Third is really, I think, the first real 3D, they went full on let's make this thing look as good as something that Disney would put out.
Okay,
kind of thing, and it is absolutely gorgeous and
good story.
It's a great story. It's this fun little adventure thing where they have to stop Nazis from finding an ancient thing, the normal sort of thing that happens in these time frames.
Okay,
it's great. It's a lot of fun. The Japanese version is also really good. The dub version has the same dub cast they've been using since the early 2000s.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's really, really good, and I highly recommend it whenever it comes out here.
And you did a full review for one of us for that, right?
Yeah, we did do a review for it. It's already out.
Okay.
I loved it. I think I gave it the highest score out of everybody.
I had a really terrible idea last night, Michael. I'll let everybody know if I follow through on it. I was thinking, I'll tell you what it is, though. I was thinking about having a Netflix double feature this weekend where I watch Uncut Gems, which I have not seen before.
Oh, okay.
And Hubie Halloween, which I have not seen before. They both have Adam Sandler in it,
both
right?
Polar opposite, though.
Well, so that brings up an interesting question. What order should I watch them in?
Oh, shit.
Should I start with the bad one and then go to the good one?
Well,
should I start with the good one and go to the bad one?
They're both going to give you different versions of anxiety, probably.
Right.
At least that's what I've heard. I haven't seen Hubie Halloween, to be honest. I actually hear it's not the worst ones of those Netflix ones he's done.
I do not. I'm not as rigorous in my scrutiny of movies as I am in video games.
No, that's fair.
I watched The Ridiculous Six, and it was this is bad, but I did watch it all the way to the end.
I hated that movie.
It was 2 hours long. It was 2 hours. Video games are minimum 12 hours, right? 2 hours? That's a cakewalk.
I couldn't deal with 10 minutes of that movie. That movie just pissed me off from the get-go.
So, which order do you think I should watch them in?
That's the thing, is I don't know. What horrible thing do you want to experience first?
I don't know.
Is really the issue.
I don't know.
All I know is Uncut Gems put me in this very tense mood.
So maybe
honestly, I think you should watch Uncut Gems.
Start
first.
with Uncut Gems, and then just be like, "Oh, right, Adam Sandler's a dope, and it's fine." And
he's
Halloween.
He's everything's fine. Nothing bad's ever happened to him, kind of thing.
Okay,
so right. I honestly think you should watch Uncut Gems first.
Okay,
only because I think it's nice. It'll probably relieve the tension you will get from Uncut Gems.
Okay,
more than anything.
Well, I'll give it a shot. That's if I remember. And I don't get too drunk too fast.
That'll be fine. You're going to watch Hubie Halloween. You're like, oh, this Uncut Gems movie is weird.
Speaking of stupid drunk shit that somebody did, last week, EA shoved their dick directly into the meat grinder. Well, sort of. No, wait, 2K, not EA. EA probably did some horrible shit.
They're very close to each other. I'm sure they hang out on weekends.
So, 2K, NBA 2K 21, I believe, right? The basketball game.
I guess. I don't know.
Came out this year, $60, $70 on next-gen consoles.
Oh, yeah.
Did an update where, if you went to play, a quick match of NBA 2K, it would play a fucking commercial that you could not skip. In this case, it was a commercial for the Oculus Quest 2, and you literally couldn't stop it from happening.
Oh my god!
This is not the first time this has happened.
No, it's not.
Earlier, we saw it with
it was 19, I think.
EA had it in UFC 4.
Oh yeah, that's right.
NBA 2K19 did have it briefly, and. So the thing I really want to focus on, they've already patched it out. It's already gone. It was on the PC and at least PC and PS4. But the thing I want to concentrate on is the statement that 2K put out, where they said, as many are aware, In recent years, ads have been integrated into 2K TV segments. Yesterday's 2K TV ad placement impacted our players' experience in a way we didn't intend, as these ads are not meant to run as part of the pregame introduction. This will be fixed in future episodes. Thanks for your continued feedback from the NBA 2K Twitter account. And it's like, I don't really know from sports games, but like, is there an appropriate place to put a fucking television advertisement in a game you spent $60 on? Like, that means that 2K is able to sell ad space for a thing that they should already have the money for, in addition to the fucking microtransactions, right? Like,
yeah, this is ridiculous. Like, even that statement is ridiculous.
Right. Like, where was the appropriate place to put a fucking TV commercial?
Yeah, they've outright like, well, it fucked up some people's experience, but we're going to give you ads in a different time frame. It's like, that doesn't help us, anybody.
It feels like the video game industry keeps trying to put them in.
Yeah,
like
no,
between
absolutely.
EA and Madden and this and UFC and all that stuff. It's like they're trying to put like full on TV ads inside of fucking $60 video games.
Because that's the thing. Like, I'm okay with product placement, because product placement in games has been going on for quite some time.
Absolutely.
Like, I used to bring up back in the 360 days. There were a lot of games that had like posters and stuff.
Oh yeah,
for movies. Like I remember playing, I think it was Rainbow Six Vegas 2, and there was a poster for the second Harold and Kumar movie that would appear, and then it was patched out, and then they put a different movie. Like, they're just doing that back and forth. Like, even the Incredible Hulk game had ads for other movies inside of it.
Wasn't there like there was a need for one of the Need for Speeds where the billboards would change?
Yeah,
they would put actual billboards on the billboards.
Yeah, and because they're still selling advertisement space apparently, but it never felt like out of place. Because it was like, well, it's just more stuff in the world.
It never felt like a mobile game where you can't play your game until you watch this ad. Like,
yeah, it didn't say like, oh, you're gonna hunt down these hostages first. So it's word from our sponsors kind of thing.
Right.
It was never like that. So you never bothered you. Yeah, plenty of games still, like I said, will have actual product placement in it. But this is just outrageous.
Absolutely, it is 100% outrageous, and I think. Like, this is why that Strauss Zelnick shit pisses me off so much. It's because, like, you motherfuckers are not happy where they're just like, well, gamers want like 1 million more pixels. And it's like, well, do we? Like, if you had a choice to buy a version of a game that looked better, but you had to watch a fucking TV ad before you could play the game, or you could get a version that looked not as good, but you didn't have to watch fucking McDonald's ads before you could play your video game, I would honestly pick the one that didn't have the goddamn McDonald's ads in it. But the thing is that it's like they're not giving you a choice, but then they always come back to this argument of putting it on the players. Like, well, development costs are super high. We got to make money somehow. And it's like, that was what the $60 was.
Yeah.
Fucking Strauss. That's what the microtransactions were for. Like, as soon as they get you used to like battle pass microtransactions in a $60 game, and now it's fucking TV advertisements as well. The only upside from my perspective is that they only seem to be doing this shit in sports games right now, which I know is not good.
No, it's not good.
It's like no good.
But it definitely shows that it definitely shows that they understand that most gamers don't care, or most gamers don't want this.
Yeah.
So they realize that the people who buy sports games, for the most part, honestly, they're like about 80% of them
they're
are probably they're trapped, and they're usually just like that might be the one thing they buy.
Right.
Sometimes, like, I've spoken to people who outright all they do is buy FIFA every year, and that's it. Like, I'm like, did you play anything else? Like, nope, I just bought FIFA and that was it.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you bought Spider-Man Miles Morales, and when you went to, if there were loading times, but if like there was a loading screen, and like when you were instead of that thing where Spider-Man's on the subway, it was like a fucking Applebee's ad.
Yeah.
Like, it would be that Ron Swanson gif. You just take your console outside and fucking throw it in a dumpster.
Exactly.
Like, no, fuck you, no.
I would be so upset. Although the only time I would find it acceptable is if they made the ads in game.
Uh-huh.
So like, for some reason, like, you're doing fast travel and it's like, you know what Miles loves? Applebee's. This is him in an Applebee's. Like I just like I'd be totally cool with that because I'm like somebody had to animate that, and I'd be down. I'm totally down with that.
If they wanted to put actual ads on, like, say, the TVs that were inside of the game,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that either. Like,
I don't either. Yeah.
in more modern games, like, integrating actual real life products can make the game seem more realistic. But, like, there's a difference between putting the billboard in Need for Speed and, like, making me watch an ad before I can pick my team in NBA 2K21. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
shit. It's
Well, hell,
shit.
if the ads played while you're playing the game, like on a jumbotron or something, then fine, even too.
Yeah.
But like, this is just stupid.
That is stupid. It is stupid. Not as stupid as Sega, though. So Sega put out a bunch of like throwback games last week. We talked about it, right?
Yes.
The Streets of Kamurocho, this Golden Axe, the other two games that seem like they're stupid. So there was a bit of a kerfuffle. So Sega put out, one of the things that Sega put out was this proof of concept vertical slice demo of a Golden Axe game that was developed called Golden Axed. The game got axed,
Yeah,
so it's called
I
Golden
get it.
Axed. And so I'm going to read you from the description of this game that was put on the Steam page. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So let's dispense with all the just like, hey, we're Sega. It's great. 60 years, blah, blah, blah. Golden Axe may be janky, maybe buggy, maybe an artifact of its time, but it offers a unique glimpse into the prospect of a project that could have been, and a rare peek behind the curtain at the sometimes tumultuous world of video game development. We reached out to some of the original development team to bring this dusty gem to light, and they are proud that this project could be revived in some form to be shared with you, the fans. Now, Michael, people won't know because of my seamless editing skills, but we actually just talked about this, so I will not ask you a second time if you think this statement is true and just say, that's some bullshit right there. Because this isn't the 1990s where you could just say some shit and then it's like the guy who actually developed it is like, that sucks. I wish somebody would interview me about this. No, this motherfucker's on Twitter. Like, he was just like, go fuck yourself. This wasn't like a super happy, fun project to work on. I crunched for 2 weeks straight, 14 hours a day to make this, and then got like bad feedback from management and like interfering producers.
Oh, jeez.
And just some garbage, just some full on street dick, right? Like, just
That means they asked the producer probably, what do you think of this? I think it's great.
You know, the story that he has about the producer, it reminds me of that bit with Kevin Smith and the Wild Wild West producer.
Oh,
Where it's
yeah.
like, you and me were from the streets.
Joel Silverman.
Yeah. It's actually really funny. Like, he said that here's some of the stuff. You guys should all go read this thread, but Tim Dawson, the guy he made that Super Assault Android Cactus game that came out.
No idea.
I know about it, but I don't know if a lot of people do. It's a little indie shooter game. It says, we also had a lead designer who thought that he was designing it, and sometimes, and this is the person who did the music work on it, would have to physically block him from reaching my workstation, or he'd start explaining insights he received playing the mobile port on the train on the way to work.
Oh, Jesus.
He took to inventing arbitrary challenges like management wants to see an attack animation playing in the game by the end of the day, or they'll think the project is in trouble, while I was busy coding enemy AI and the soft lock combo system automatically.
Oh, my God.
Or simultaneously. He also apparently at some point, this horrible producer like wanted them to spin their prototype into a prototype for both Golden Axe and Streets of Rage reboot.
Oh, Jesus.
And then like when they finally took it to the big wigs, they were like, where's the wow factor? He says the lead designer once again complained it wasn't a God of War like 3D brawler like he wanted. Someone said maybe it'd have been better to have made a pre-rendered video where the barbarian fought a monster. Like, his whole thing is just like shitty development, studio interference, nebulous stuff. Like, this guy was working his ass off to try and make something that would be like an update for Golden Axe and like modern. And apparently, if you play it, the prototype is really good. Like, it's like super bloody, right? As was the style at the time.
Yes.
And you know,
early 2000s, they say.
Yeah, and it apparently like was really cool, and they decided not to go with it. But this apparently just so crushed this Tim Dawson guy that he just was like, kind of walked away from like the big industry and started doing indie stuff.
I can't blame him after something like that.
Yeah. Now, eventually this week, Sega took because the thing is that, you know, they're like, it may be janky and fucked up, but we just thought we'd give you a nice little thing. And he's like, fuck you guys. Like,
You didn't ask me shit.
yeah. Well, also janky and fucked up for like a tech demo that I cobbled together in 2 weeks of overtime. Like, this was never a full thing.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't bug bash this vertical slice that we showed to like VPs,
It was
right?
literally a pitch.
Yeah. So they put out a statement where they said, we certainly didn't mean to dredge up painful memories for Mr. Dawson and his former colleagues or appear disrespectful. We removed the line from the Steam copy that could have been taken as a slur on the development and would like to reassure everyone that it was intended as a comment on the build we had ported to the PC, not the quality of the original work. We're hoping lots of fans play the prototype and can appreciate the work he and his colleagues put into developing the design. Cool, right? Fine that this guy got his work seen by more than just some shitty like upper management people.
Yeah.
But, you know, on the other hand, like when they're like, yeah, we told everybody about it and put it out. It's like you didn't tell the fucking lead developer.
Yeah, the guy who actually did everything. They're like, oh, we asked them in like passing. We ran by him. It's like, hey, yo. And he's like, what? And then that was their thing.
We were just like opened the window and we were like, hey, Tim Dawson, can we put out Golden Axe? Your silence means yes.
This is drove by his apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
We knocked once and he didn't answer. So, yeah, that means he's very proud of his work.
Anyway, I think like everybody should go read this. And then earlier, I showed Michael a trailer for a game called Unpacking, and this is the game that Tim Dawson is currently working on.
Okay.
So for anybody that doesn't know, this is on my radar a while back for some reason. There's this game that he's working on called Unpacking, and it is like this super, super lo-fi chill beats to study to Zen thing where you just have a pixelated room and you just are unpacking items from boxes and putting them on like tables and dressers, and you're like unpacking the kitchen and putting the knives and the forks where they're supposed to go. And it looks just like very calming, very relaxing.
Yeah.
Very much like this kind of genre of just chill out and do a thing. And it's cool. Just do the thing.
Well, it's the kind of thing that you can point to when somebody are like, video games make people violent, and then just like cut to this.
Right. I highly recommend everybody go check it out. I think it's on Steam. I think you can wishlist it on Steam. If you're into that sort of thing, maybe you want to wishlist it on Steam because it looks fun. Like if you go watch the trailer, you're going to know right away whether this is going to be for you or not.
This could be so memed so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Just people just being like, oh, it appeals to the male fantasy. It just cuts to this.
Yeah. Apparently it's going to be out next year. So happy ending to the story. Tim Dawson is fine. Also, I think that if you want to go play that Golden Axe game, it seems like I'm torn. I don't think you should boycott the free game that doesn't cost any money. That's not like, now that you know the story, right?
Yeah.
You're fully informed. It doesn't cost any money if you can still even get it. I think they had like a time limit on those. So anyway, from there, let's talk about Twitch. Maybe you're going to stream Unpacking on Twitch later. You know,
Why not?
Twitch. Oh man. Twitch is okay. So for a long time, right? If you put up music, if you put up a clip on YouTube and it had copyrighted music, you would get a copyright notice, right? You wouldn't get like a takedown notice, but you'd just be like, "Hey, fucking butthole music group GBHM or whatever." Has claimed the 4 seconds of audio at the beginning of the intro to this anime game, so now they get to fully monetize this video, and like you don't get any of the money from it.
Yeah.
I feel like it used to be on Twitch that it was a little bit more Wild Westy, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, not anymore. Twitch apparently sent out an email this week where they took down like a shitload of videos and clips that had DMCA strikes on it. And then they had this really, really, really nebulous statement sent to creators about how like it is your responsibility to get full permission to use any audio that you're using on your clips. So a lot of like Twitch streamers who just put up like a full unedited 4-hour stream, are like, so I have to delete the entire 4-hour stream just in case it has some shit in it, because they're not telling people like what the violations are.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a fucked up move, and it really just goes like there was actually a purge that they did I think it was last year. But apparently all of this is getting to a point where Twitch moving forward is going to be very much enforcing this shitty RIAA like crap, which is so I was reading this article about it, and it was like, you could say, well, you know, artists make music and they deserve to get money for their music if their music is used. But like, man, we are way past that argument, in my opinion. Like, the music that's in the background that the company that made the game already licensed to put in the game, you're going to monetize this video, and then you, the person that made the music, are going to take the money out of the video that I made of the video game that the publisher paid you for the music, and then you're going to, like, what the fuck, right?
Well,
like,
that's just the music part of it. Like, there's so many things that people use Twitch for outside of games.
Yeah.
That, like, there are people who review movies on there.
Yep.
There are people who review music kind of thing. Like, all of these people are going to get fucked by this entire situation.
Yes. And I honestly feel like the entirety of this has been, I feel, Michael, like my entire adult life, I have been watching this shit go down from Napster onward. Like, it started with fucking Napster and then just went from there.
Well, Napster was the only time you could be like, well, I get where you're coming from.
I mean, like, I did steal this music.
Yeah, but like, these are just people playing things. Like, they're not selling any of these things for the most part. So it's like, fuck you guys.
Plus, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really like the way that YouTube does it, but that's better than this. At least, like,
yeah,
forcing monetization on it and then giving that money to the people that make. Like, okay, the trailer the sequential Saturday trailer that I made for Metal Gear has Carme Burana on it. You know, that like,
oh, okay,
like, and that got full on monetized, right? Like, I mean, it's a trailer. I didn't want it to be monetized, but like,
yeah,
I didn't know how to search for a royalty free version of Carme Burana, or however you say it, for that. And it's just like, there's so much work that they want people like us to do, when it's like, the benefit is like,
you don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, like, what do you do is, like, you're now just taking down the video, so now nobody gets to see it, I guess.
So half the time when they get royalty free nowadays, somebody still claims it as their own.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. Like, there have been instances of YouTube, like, there have been instances of YouTube copyright striking the person whose song it is.
Yeah.
There have been, I think there's been a few where people have, like, sung or hummed a song, like, on their own, and they're like, that's mine.
Mine. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I had to make a version of one of the Just Dance videos because, like, the European licensing for fucking Beyonce's songs, it was just like, this video cannot be seen in Europe, full stop, because it's got all the single ladies in it. And
Jesus
it's like,
Christ.
You guys, it's fucking music. Like, it's just fucking music. Like,
part of the game, guys.
yeah. Also, so many of these things for years, it's like, you know, Bon Jovi is not getting the money that YouTube then monetizes my video and gives to the fucking butthole GmbH music group, you know, of Miami, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they're not like cutting checks to fucking Def Leppard because Grand Theft Auto 4 has a Def Leppard song on the radio. And if they are, they're cutting them a check for like 1 cent. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's so stupid, and it's just being a party pooper. It's being a big old party pooper.
Well, a lot of people will end up not wanting to use Twitch out of this, to be honest. It's just fucking over people who are the reason their platform works to begin with.
Yeah.
Or worked to begin with at this point.
There you go. Mixer. Get back in there. Get back in there, Mixer.
Yeah, make sure this is your chance.
Team up with... Is that Mixer, like, shut down at
yeah,
this
it is.
point?
That's what I'm saying. Now it's a chance to come back.
You know what should happen? I heard today that Quibi got shut down. Like,
it did.
Mixer and Quibi should get together. They could have like vertical streams, right? Of like, they could do their little vertical thing on the Quibi, and then they could mix together and become like the thing. Actually, people hate YouTube now, so they could have phone streaming, live streaming, recorded stuff all in one place on Mixibby.
McSibby's not bad.
You can have that for free. Quibi, what a stupid piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck Quibi.
I remember there was like 1 or 2 times where I was like, I saw a trailer for something on YouTube before I could watch the video, and I was like, hey, this looks kind of good. And it was like, only on Quibi, and I was like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, there was this thing, it was like Patton Oswalt and all these great comedians. Oh, that sounds great. Only on Quibi. Yeah, I'm never going to watch that then.
Yep.
Fuck you guys.
Yep.
It's like New Reno 911, only on Quibi. Well, fuck you.
Speaking of companies that need to just fucking take the stick out of their ass and let people do the thing, we got a story about how the PS4 to PS5 switch is probably going to make it so that you can't play the playable teaser, PT, on the PS5. Like, it's not going to be part of your library, and it's not going to be able to be downloaded as a PS4 backwards compatible thing from the store.
Yeah.
The question is, if you literally copy it to a hard drive and plug that hard drive into your PlayStation 5 and copy it from your hard drive to the PlayStation 5 hard drive, can you play it? And the answer is nobody knows. And the moral of the story is Konami, just people like this game. Like, let them have it.
You literally could charge for PT and people would buy it.
Yeah. Like, there's no good reason for you to be, like, gatekeeping access to PT behind, like I have 2 PlayStations, I think, that have PT on it right now.
Yeah, I think so.
I should sell one of them because it is fucking ridiculous that PT is, like, locked away for some stupid reason.
It's weird. It's weird as shit. Like, it was a literal phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like, and then nothing ever came from it.
No. And why? Like, it's just spiteful. Like, it's not doing anything. It's just Konami being, like, vengeful against what? Like, Hideo Kojima? Like, he made Metal Gear for you guys for years.
He must have shat on somebody's desk. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Look, man, there is nothing that Hideo Kojima could do at a company, I feel like, that would make them fire him. Like, if he was running around shitting on desks left and right, like, think of the amount of money that Konami has made off of the words metal and gear over the last, like, 30 years. Like, it's incalculable. It's ridiculous. But then apparently this is a company that doesn't know how to monetize Castle fucking Vania.
I have no idea what they want to do.
So, yeah. Take the stick out. Take it out. Take it out. Speaking of the PlayStation 5, we have a whole bunch of PS5 stories.
Hooray.
The first one is about that voice recording stuff from last week. So Sony has clarified some details, and here they are. First off, apparently the voice recording thing is only going to be happening on the PlayStation 5. So there is a notice that you have to agree to if you go into a party chat on the PS4 that says, like, you may be recorded. That is specifically there to ensure that if you voice chat with somebody on a PS5, you have essentially agreed to the recording. But the PS4 will not have any of the recording stuff in it. Numero dos. Apparently only 5 minutes. It's going to be like a rolling 5 minutes of recording that's happening constantly. Number 3. As we said last week, it's going to be specifically for submitting community complaints, and you will get to submit 40 seconds worth of footage, 40-second long voice clip, and then that is also going to contain the 20 seconds like before and after that voice clip. So it'll only ever submit like 80 seconds total of just like, here was the part where I'm making the complaint. I have not heard or seen anything that says that Sony will be. In fact, they have specifically said that they're not going to be uploading these like constantly.
Oh, okay.
They're going to be monitoring them, right? Like, it's going to be used as a thing to report if you have a problem with somebody else on there. Now, the other question that has come up is, this is for party chat.
Yeah.
So like if you're just in a game that has voice comms and there's somebody in there, like that's where you would normally see somebody who you would want to report would be a rando.
That's the thing about it.
In like a Call of Duty match, right?
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be somebody in your party chat. Like I wouldn't report you, Michael. I'd be like, Michael, stop it, man. Come on.
Those are children, Michael.
Yeah.
That you're talking to.
This is Children's Day on Rage Select. We're playing with infants, my man. Like,
that's the thing that always confuses me. It's like people, when they talk to each other in party chat, it's usually people they know. So even if somebody says something offensive, it's usually because that's just their sense of humor.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I would think so. So we don't actually know if there's going to be ways to report people that are not straight up in your party chat.
Yeah.
But that's the update. I still am kind of where I was last week. Like, I haven't moved very much. I kind of just assume that if you're talking into the microphone on anything, that your right to privacy is reduced.
Very much so.
Like Zoom or
especially anything connected to the internet.
Yeah, Google Meet, or
like if you have like just like a voice recorder that you're talking to, well, it's a lot easier to be because it's not connected to anything.
Yeah.
But the second you've connected your phone, your PlayStation, your Alexa, your Google Home, your laptop, like I'm still counting. Like I went up to 5 things right there.
Hey man, I'm even kind of paranoid about just like my phone. Like,
exactly.
Even if I'm not talking on my phone, like, who knows if there's something in one of the EULAs that's just like, by not unchecking this box, you give fucking, I don't know, Yelp the right to record everything that comes through your microphone. You always have to agree to that, like, this thing wants to use your phone's microphone, right? So, like, who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Well, it's the whole thing. It's like, it's the thing that South Park makes fun of. It's like, oh, you didn't read the agreement, so now you got to be part of a human centipede.
Yep.
It's like, good luck with that.
So I don't know. We'll see if this makes any real big difference. I don't really know if it's going to. There was another thing where Sony basically stated that they're looking back at the way that they changed the party system in the 8.0 update on the PS4. I don't ever do this, so I actually didn't know the specifics of this. But apparently the way that it works now is there are... So it used to be that I would be like, invite Michael to party, right? Yeah. Now, apparently, if you want to chat with people on your friends list or people, they need to be in a messaging group, right? So it's like, oh, my besties, like, or my Destinies boys, right? Whatever. He's like, all right, voice chat, Destiny boys. And then, like, you're all up in there and you're talking with the Destiny boys, doing some Destiny.
I can't get over Destiny boys. I love it. I want it to be a thing now.
BOIZ, obviously.
Of course. Oh.
Yeah.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
What this means, though, is that, like, if you meet somebody online randomly and then you want to, like, invite them to a party chat, it's like you have to add them to a message group and then invite that message group to party chat.
That's stupid.
Nobody is entirely sure whether this hooks into, like, some change in the friend system on the PS5 that would actually be easier there, but that the architecture needs to happen this way in the party chat structure.
Yeah, that's weird.
But that's stupid.
That's really dumb.
Stupid. And apparently they're going to be, like, making some changes. So hopefully they'll fix it.
Of course, they should be.
But, last week this was part of that 8.0 update, and people didn't like it, and I can't blame them because that sounds terrible.
That's stupid as shit.
And then you do all that work to put somebody in a party chat, and it's like, we're going to record you. And you're like, come on, man. Give me a break. I just want to play with the Destiny boys.
I feel like by the time you do a lot of that stuff, it's just like, I'm just going to go to sleep now.
I kind of want like one of those like 80s themed shirts with like the, it's got like block letters and then like the script letters and like a checker, like a big grid that goes in the background with like a sunset that says Destiny Boys on it.
It's bedazzled on the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear it and then never play Destiny. And then people will be like, "Oh shit, you play Destiny?" I'll be like, "No, this is about Fate, not some video game.
This is about the band Destiny."
That's right. We also got a new Spider-Man Miles Morales trailer. Well, that's like a little vertical slice.
Quick
Game Informer. Yeah. Oh, are you off? Are you off Miles Morales now?
Huh?
Are you off of Miles Morales?
No, I'm very excited for Miles Morales.
Oh, did you say it looks stupid?
No, I said it's a snippet.
Oh, it's a snippet. I thought you said it looks stupid. I was like, oh shit.
No, I said
Michael, what happened?
I said it's a snippet. That's what I said. So it looks great.
There's some new stealth options that are happening. There's some new suit options that are happening. There's some they talked about. There's some gadgets in like the visor that you're wearing, so you can like do stealth better than you could in PS4 Spider-Man. It all looks really good. Like this Spider-Man has been a fantastic product, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There hasn't been a part of it that I've been like super unhappy with, and this all looks like they took what they had. I wonder if some of these things might come back into the PS5 version of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm curious about. Like, what things will keep going between the remastered? Like, is there anything from this that will end up in the remastered, or is there vice versa?
They changed Peter's face and shit, right?
Yeah.
They changed some of the building stuff.
I know that's I know that's definitely a thing that is going to be in this as well, because they wanted to make it uniform across the board.
I guess the younger model doesn't entirely track as like the mentor for Miles.
That's really the most issues most people have, including myself.
I hadn't thought about that.
I think he looks a little too young. But the thing is, this takes place way after the fact of that one too. So I don't even know. Maybe the one that's in this might be aged up. I don't know.
Maybe he's just one of them Elijah Woods. He's got the baby face.
Yeah, well, possibly.
Baby
just looks like Grant.
Yeah. We need to patch Grant into Spider-Man, Michael.
I'm cool with this.
So, yeah, but this all looks really good.
It'll be the way he was dressed for that Just Dance from a while back.
Oh, yeah. We also saw some interesting new abilities, some more like AoE. Apparently, Miles has more like area of effect damage, and is not quite as just like punch, punch, punch. They also talked about how some of the like execution power, not execution, but like some of the like big powers are going to be modules, so that you can like move that module to a different suit to keep the power but cosmetically change the suit, which I think is a great idea.
Well, they did that in the last one.
Oh, did they?
Well, yeah, because you remember every suit had a different thing to it.
Oh, yeah. Then when you got it,
you switched it.
Yeah, because the first one was the best one. Or I liked the first one the best because I got hit and shot and beat up all the time.
Well, yeah, the regenerate your fucking meter thing was OP as fuck. Sure, I knew people who used the static, the shock ones, because that also made fights really easily. And as soon as I unlocked the quips one, I just used that for days.
Okay. We also are getting a brand new PlayStation Store. So the PlayStation Store is getting a big update starting October 21st through the 26th. This is to coincide with the PS5 launch, to get ready for the PS5 launch. And we don't really know specifics, but we do know one crappy thing that is happening.
What's that?
So I don't know how many people know this. I know this because I still use my old devices. But if you go to the PlayStation 3, or if you go to the PlayStation Store on the web, you can buy, like, you can just look through all the games, and if there's like a PlayStation 3 game, you can buy a PS3 game and then just say, next time I turn on my PS3, download it.
Yeah.
And then when you do, it'll download it. And this is really useful to me because I use my PS3 for PS2 and PS1 games for a lot of the retro stuff we do. Well, that option is being taken out of the web store. Nobody's entirely sure why, because apparently you're still going to be able to buy stuff through the store on your PlayStation 3. Also, this counts for PSP and Vita. You'll be able to use the store on the PSP, the Vita, or the PlayStation 3, but not through the web interface on Sony's website anymore.
Well, maybe you got to add it to a message board first, and then you got to be like, now download it.
Yes. Well, see, the thing is that my PlayStation 3 right now is doing something weird where the store doesn't have any buy buttons in it.
That's fucking weird.
Like, I can see all the games, I just can't add any of them to cart. Like, the place where that button is blank. So I've just been using the store on my PC to get all of the, like, I bought one of the Asylum games that we're playing next week. 2, 3, 4 of the Asylum games we're playing last week, I think, came through my PS3, because there's actually a huge number of PS1 and PS2 games in the PS3 library.
That's the thing about the PS3 that was great.
Yeah.
You can play the original Crash Bandicoots on there.
Yep. So
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
do you want me to play the original? I already played the remakes.
Perhaps.
And 4. Get out of my house. Get out of my house. No more Crash Bandicoot. We also got some information on PS5 trophies. Apparently, so in the past, I didn't really know this, but on PS4, if you get like a platinum trophy, you'll get like an email from Sony being like, hey, here's some rewards that you can add to your PS4 account.
Did not realize that.
Like avatars or backgrounds and shit like that. Apparently, that's going to be able to all be done through the UI on the PS5.
That's neat.
And apparently, there's going to be more than just the platinum trophy. Like, you'll get one for like, hey, you got a silver trophy. Here's a fucking avatar. You're like, okay, cool. Which is cool. I don't really care about any of that stuff.
That's neat, I guess.
Some people do. Do you? How many trophies do you have, Michael?
I don't know. That's not something I've paid attention to in quite some time.
Good man.
All I know is I got the platinum one from Spider-Man. That was about it.
I was not about to play all the way through that game a second time.
I'm going to.
A
third time now, technically.
And then I think that this is the last PlayStation story that we have. Apparently the PS5's fan, that big ass fan that we saw in the teardown, is going to have like its own set of patches and performance stuff, because apparently it's got like sensors that'll turn it on and off. But I actually really like this story, where apparently they'll be able to push updates that like change the fan behavior in both software, both one piece of software and then like individual parts of a software.
Oh, wow.
So if Sony notices like the load time on this game is getting longer, they can like kick the fan up and then bring it back down again, which is good. It's kind of weird. You don't think about like a patch for the fan.
It's not something you would ever have to think about normally.
Yeah.
The thing the size of a torso.
From there, we have some more hardware news. This is actually really cool. The company Analogue, which you might remember as being the company that made that like super kick-ass Game Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Is making a product called the Duo, which is a TurboGrafx machine, which will play...
That's a word I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, TurboGrafx 16, PC Engine Super Graphics, TurboGrafx CD, PC Engine CD-ROM 2, and Super Arcade 2 ROMs.
Now you can play Bonk in 1080p.
Yeah. Apparently it uses this thing called FPGA, and I don't know what that is. It stands for Field Programmable Gate Array. But what it means is that this thing isn't actually running an emulator. It's running like hardware. It's running a customized hardware set that can run the games like it's on hardware. Not just that, but it's also... I didn't realize this, but they're going to have Bluetooth, and it's got HDMI out, and it's got a controller that looks like the old TurboGrafx controller, but you can also Bluetooth connect like other controllers to it.
That's cool.
And not just that, but if you have the TurboGrafx Pocket, I didn't realize this, but that Pocket unit that they have has like it's like a modular slot that you plug a thing in that then lets you put different types of carts in it. So Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, Game Boy Color. And they're going to be releasing for like $30 a thing that lets you put TurboGrafx carts in it. So you can play like, you remember how the TurboGrafx had the portable, right? So you can play portable TurboGrafx games.
That's neat. Good for them.
Yeah. This Pocket thing, which I think is really cool, got shifted to 2021. But this one's going into pre-order. It's going to be $200, which is not the worst for. This is enthusiast hardware.
Yeah,
right?
This is definitely like if you're really into that sort of thing. That's not that much considering.
Like this is a console to play physical copies of TurboGrafx games. If you have physical TurboGrafx cards, having a $200 console to play them on is probably not a big deal.
It's for a very specific audience, is really what it comes down to.
Yes, I was thinking though, if they made one of these for the PlayStation 2, I would buy it tomorrow.
Everyone would.
I would buy it tomorw.
I think it would sell out so fast.
I'd buy it for $400 at this point if it had an HDMI out on
That's
it,
fair,
and like if I could Bluetooth connect a PS4 controller to this virtual PS2, play frame perfect PS2 games in HDMI on my TV. Fuck, I would buy that. I'd buy two in case one broke. So that's a really cool piece of hardware. And you can check it out if you want. If you go to Analogue, spelled like LOGUE, LOGUE.co.
Analogue.
Yeah, you can see their various products, which are all pretty cool. So check them out. In the less cool hardware news category, guess what's coming back, Michael?
Oh, jeez.
It's Pong.
Oh, God.
Atari is making this like physical handheld Pong machine with like a knob on each side and like a little thing, and they produced this super slick commercial for this thing that is telling all of these bullet points of things that it does, and it's like USB powered, like good on the go, got a menu button,
10 levels of AI settings.
Yep, 7.9 inch
oh my
LCD
God. You
panel.
want to know what would be great? Take this commercial, go back in time to where like the old Atari Pong days, and just tell them that games have never gotten past this point, and see if they believe you, because they might, because they keep fucking making Pong.
Yeah, I was actually thinking like, what would I actually spend money on? Because they haven't announced a price for this yet. But like, if I was going to buy a machine that only played Pong, what would I actually spend money on?
$20.
No, not how much. Like, would I buy a machine that just played Pong? No, unless at our arcade, pinballs, they have this Pong table that is a physical.
Oh yeah,
paddle with a physical ball.
I like that one.
That is controlled by like a magnet or something that goes back and forth. I would maybe buy that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
This is just like you could play this on your phone, dude. Like
I don't see the point of this.
You're going to set up the 7.9-inch display, and then two people are going to play Pong with a little paddle on it. Like
that's stupid.
I mean, I realize it's part of video game history, but Pong is like Citizen Kane. It's boring and stupid, and we're way past it. Yeah. It's important to know what it is, but I don't want to do it.
That's true. I watched Citizen Kane once, and I never wanted to watch it ever again.
Fuck no, you didn't want to watch it again. Did you see the Netflix trailer for that Gary Oldman movie about the guy that wrote Citizen Kane?
I did not, but I saw the poster for it.
It's pretty cool. Charles Dance from Game of Thrones, the Tywin Lannister, is going to be the guy that Citizen Kane. What was his name?
William
Hearst. William Randolph Hearst. Yeah, I went to the Hearst Mansion one time. That place is fucking. It's incredible. It's like so wealthy. Like the dude had like zoo animals on his property. Like he had like a swimming pool that had more gold in it than I've ever seen outside of Donald Trump's apartment.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And last but not least, Michael, we finally got a release date for that stupid like Atari
mini thing that they did.
That like 2600 throwback, but it plays some modern games sort of type of thing that was kickstarted, and they're releasing it on the 27th of November. So like a week and a half after the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 launch, Atari is putting out this dumb piece of shit 2600 thing. Like, you could have put out the Pong machine and waited until November or until December to put this out, because this is going to get buried.
This is one of my new favorite things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
The idea that they had the audacity, the fucking audacity to release a fucking Atari machine against next-gen systems.
Yep.
Holiday season, guys. Get what your kids want.
Not
the
just
Atari.
Not just that. They should have released this shit in 2021, because like we are yet a few weeks away from those next-gen consoles. But guess what? At the end of this month, they're also launching that GTX 3070 card for $500. Also, the Oculus Quest 2 is going in and out of retail. Like, this is not a good time to be trying to throw your retro dick around, Atari.
Cyberpunk is coming out in November, but they're like, people are gonna want Cyberpunk. They're gonna want the Atari.
I mean, you realize that Watch Dogs Legion comes out like this week.
Also, this thing, wasn't it like really expensive too?
I don't even remember.
I remember it being way more than people wanted.
A couple $100 or some bullshit.
Yeah, which was like, why?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because again, you could play these games on your phone.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to play some more like modern games, but let's see if their website will let me buy one.
There's a pre-order
button. Now. $389.
Fuck you.
$389, Michael.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Are you shitting me right now?
Nope.
That's way worse than I expected.
Nope.
Fuck you. Double fuck you, guys. You're shitting me.
Yep.
Absolutely shitting me.
In other hardware news, we have some news about the Xbox. So apparently, the Master Chief Collection on November 17th, so only 10 days away from the launch of the Atari VCS, will be getting an update for the Series X that will let you play it at 4K 120 hertz, all the games.
Oh, geez.
So everything is getting updated. I feel like this is like their consolation. This is supposed to be like a big grand thing when like they launched with the new Halo, and then also all the old Halos were 120 hertz. I bet.
I could definitely see that being a thing.
But yeah, this is going to be a free update. If you have Game Pass, it's Master Chief Collection's part of that. November 17th, there's going to be an update. I don't think my TV does 120 hertz.
I don't know anyone who has an actual TV like that at the moment.
I'd have to look at the specs. I've never had the need None of the current gen systems play at 120 hertz.
No, not really.
My capture box can't run at 120 hertz, so I don't even know what that looks like. I
can't even visualize that.
So yeah,
I'm sure somebody I know must have something like that.
In other Xbox news, there was a very interesting interview with Phil Spencer with Kotaku, where basically, okay, I want to read you this because this is a really interesting thing. The really interesting quote. And he's talking about basically recouping the money they spent on Bethesda.
Yeah.
And
it's been a lot.
Yeah, it was $7 billion.
Yeah, it was more than they paid for Star Wars.
I don't want to be flip about that. The deal was not done to okay, and they're talking about whether moving forward Bethesda games will be only on the Xbox and the PC, right?
Oh, okay.
He says, I don't want to be flip about that. This deal was not done to take games away from another player base like that. Nowhere in the documentation that we put together was, how do we keep other players from playing these games? We want more people to be able to play games, not fewer people to be able to go to play games. But this is where it gets interesting. But I'll also say in the model, I'm just answering directly the question that you had. When I think about where people are going to be playing, the number of where people are going to be playing and the number of devices that we have xCloud and PC and Game Pass in our console base. I don't have to go ship those games on any other platform other than the platforms that we support in order to kind of make the deal work for us, whatever that means. What he's saying is that like it would not be necessary for Microsoft to ship on all platforms to make back the money on an Elder Scrolls 6 that they spent to acquire Bethesda. He's also being very careful not to say that that's what's going to happen, but like financially, intellectually speaking, which in all honesty, if you were Microsoft and you were getting ready to buy that, I feel like there would be somebody who would be like, okay, if we just put these games on our platform, will we make our money back?
Yeah.
And you say, yes. And then like, okay, now we could put them on other platforms and make even more money, or we could try to use it to drive sales to our console.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make it console exclusive.
Being very coy there, Mr. Spencer.
I think that the worst we're going to see is a timed exclusivity.
And I'm okay with that. It's PlayStation's been doing it for years now.
It's happening on the Epic Game Store right now. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Let's see. We also got Michael. Remember last week when we had the gigantic Xbox One in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Well, the guy said he was going to put the big PS5 where Sony's headquarters was.
There it is.
And the guy put the big PS5 in Microsoft Flight Simulator where the Sony headquarters is. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty fun.
I love it.
They both look like buildings.
They do.
Neither one of them looks like a console anymore. They both look like fucking buildings.
That looks like a building I'll see in downtown Austin soon.
Yeah. Like if you put like a PlayStation 4 there, it would look weird because the PS4 doesn't look like a building.
Well, if you put it like most consoles on there, it would look weird.
Yeah.
But not these ones.
Need a Nintendo Switch. Giant Nintendo Switch with the Joy-Cons hanging over the side. They look really kind of perfect. The only thing about the PlayStation 5 that really doesn't work is the big CD drive slot on the side.
Yeah, this thing, he could have easily done the non-CD drive one.
Yeah.
And it would have looked even more like a building.
This looks like a building that is up the street from me. In the Domain, there's this big swoopy side building up there.
I think I know what you're talking about.
With big lights on it.
I love that. I love it.
Also, it's worth noting, I didn't put this on the list, but we had Sony or Microsoft's been putting out these like sizzle reels for Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh, okay.
And they finally put out the North American one, and very briefly they show what Austin looks like, and which is nice because my computer is not powerful enough to play Flight Simulator.
It's very, very big.
Not in potato mode, or unless it's in potato mode. Let's see. I'm trying to look at here. You know what? We're kind of at the point of our first hour. Michael's on a real tight clock today.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get through this, but we might just be used to talking too much about each individual thing. So we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we've got more stories to go over. And I do have a lot of questions. We may try to get to some questions.
Yes, let's try.
We'll see what happens. And We still have more news.
So much news.
I need to cut down the number of newses. Maybe I need to have fewer newses.
Gotta get rid of Huey first.
That's right.
Only keep the news.
Yep. Gotta. Yeah, do that. Anyway, the next story that we had is actually a really interesting thing. It's about Cyberpunk 2077.
Ooh.
Speaking
of the future.
Yeah, this is actually really, really interesting, and I highly recommend everybody go look up this thing called Jali Research, Jali. They have this like super long, very dry, boring. It's like that Mark Cerny tech thing. They're talking about facial animation in video games, and I think I actually watched something from these guys like 2 years ago. But the takeaway from this is that Cyberpunk 2077 has this tech in it where the lip sync will be correct for any language.
Oh my god.
And it's because it's being like procedurally generated by this software that's running. And the software goes as far as like it's got enough sensitivity that like different types of phenome patterns have been taken into account. So they showed like this character, the character that was in that like it's like a tech character, this lady with this green hair. And they showed her talking in a bunch of different languages. And they also have like the speech is tied to facial expressions, is tied to like head movements and stuff. And they showed how like the brow furrows differently in Japanese because it doesn't have as many like harsh phenomes. So there's like more brow movement, but it's more subtle. Whereas in like German, words are emphasized, and so you have like a harder brow movement. And so what it means is that all of the individual languages are going to be like lip synced perfectly. And somebody who has had to spend hours manually lip syncing, I'm like, hooray! Do this for everything.
That blows my fucking mind.
Yeah,
like especially as somebody who plays a lot of games that I end up playing in Japanese over because the English, like they try desperately.
Yeah,
they're never going to get it to be perfect, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. Here I should say it so that people know. But like the name of the YouTube channel is Jali Research Incorporated. The video is called Jali Driven Expressive Facial Animation and Multilingual Speech in Cyberpunk 2077 with CDPR. It also has some really interesting stuff. Like they have like an XY slider where it's like this is the amount of like jaw movement and this is the amount of like lip movement, and you can literally like set that for different emphasis in different places.
That's amazing.
It's really fascinating. But
they're really going for it.
Yeah, the end product result is that you aren't going to have to worry about some janky foreign language that doesn't have anybody's lips moved. Somebody should get this shit to From Software so that their people can start moving their lips when they talk.
That'd be great.
That'd be pretty great. I went back. I was looking for our Halloween feature this year. There is an old game for the PS2 called Kuon that is like a feudal Japanese horror game. Yeah. And I didn't know it was made by From Software. And so I loaded it up on an emulator because it's one of those, like, it costs $180 to buy a disc for it.
Oh, okay.
And I want to see if it worked and if it was any good. And in the cutscenes, nobody's lips move.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, I think this has been a From Software thing for a long time. They just are like, you know what? Fuck it. We got better things to do than make lips move.
Dude, we're going to just stand there and talk.
I'll tell you who else has better things to do than make things happen. That's Crystal Dynamics, because all that Avengers shit has been delayed. The next-gen version of Marvel's Avengers that was supposed to be available when you buy your new console. That's been pushed to 2021.
Fuck me.
Also, late in October, they were supposed to put out the Kate Bishop thing. That's been pushed off.
Oh my God, really?
As well, yes.
You poor bastards.
Yep.
Guess what, Xbox guys? I don't think Spider-Man's ever going to happen at this point. Fuck me.
Yeah, so the delay has been delayed to have a fixed, predictable patching cycle. Apparently, they're probably just still working on making the game actually work correctly.
Yeah, I consistently keep hearing about more and more patches.
This is a real bummer. I was kind of looking forward to seeing what Avengers looked like on the next gen.
I was too, actually.
Like, I mean, it seemed like one of those, like, hey, cool, I bought this. I'll check it out on the new console.
I'll play it out.
But Michael, it's okay, because they're going to make up for it by giving all players a thank you bundle with 1,500 credits, 7,000 units, 20 upgrade modules, 20 DNA keys, and a Sarah Garza-inspired nameplate.
Yeah, that last one is a meme, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, because so a long time ago, at least not a long time ago, because this game isn't that old. So when you first bought the game,
way back in June.
Yeah, well, not even June. It was like September or something.
Yeah.
So if there's remember how you could talk to the faction people and they'll give you your missions.
Yeah.
So if you take all of the missions from the Inhuman faction leader, which is the Sarah Garza, she'll keep going. Seriously, you're the best. And she'll do that 9 times. They finally patched it out not that long ago. So that's what that nameplate is supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
Apparently it's supposed to say seriously you're the best on it.
Oh, good.
And it became a meme. So because if you look at the subreddit for the Avengers thing, people just randomly comment it all the time.
I just, I mostly feel bad for you because you're like the only person I know who's actually still actively playing this.
Yeah, I still play it every now and then.
And you got a PS5 on pre-order, and it was like, oh, that'll be a nice thing.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Load it up and be like, oh, it runs a little better.
It'll be a Marvel machine, the PS5 with Spider-Man and Avengers.
Yeah, I can play Miles Morales. I can play the Avengers. Nope. Not for you.
Slap that out of my head. No, stop it. Stop having hope. Fuck you. Here's some credits.
Like, I know that Square Enix is a big company, and I know that Crystal Dynamics has probably got some leeway to kind of get their shit together in this game, but like they need to get their shit together because honestly,
at this point, they're just finishing the game.
Yeah, like we're pretty close to next month. Like, there's a lot coming out.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs Legion, Cyberpunk, the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There's like a bunch of shit that's coming out, and
your live service game doesn't have a lot of service in it.
Destiny's got some big things that are going on, right? Like, your direct competitor.
Yeah.
There's a new Marvel game coming out.
You guys, people are going to forget you exist pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget it exists pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Put it on my shelf and forget about it.
Yeah. Is no good. No good.
Yeah.
No good. Let's see. From there, I have a really interesting story. This is actually something that I feel like should have happened a long time ago. So, bad news for Avengers. Good news. More good news for Google Stadia.
Really?
So, this week, nobody knows this because nobody's looking at Stadia. By the way, when we played Stadia, I said you had to spend $10 a month. Apparently, you don't have to. That's the pro version. You can just play Stadia for free.
Oh, that's neat.
You just don't get the free game. You get like one free game, but the $10 gets you like the subscription where you can add those free games into your cart, right?
Oh, I gotcha.
But there are 3 demos that are out right now that are only on Stadia. So the first one was Mega Man Mega Tunnel Battle, which is apparently some kind of battle royale Mega Man game. Go figure.
That's interesting.
The second one is that
what's this Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle?
Yeah. Did I not say Pac-Man?
No, you said Mega Man.
Oh, not Mega Man, Pac-Man. Pac-Man. Yes. Waka waka waka.
Now I'm less interested, though, is the thing. You got me all excited, and then now it's a Pac-Man thing, and now I just feel sad.
Sorry. I didn't mean to dash your hopes like that. The second one is Humankind, which is that weird, like, Civilization one. You remember they had, like, Caveman trailer?
Yeah.
So there's that. But then the third one that came out today is Immortals Phoenix Rising from Ubisoft. Like, you can literally go to, like, you don't even have to buy anything. You can go to Stadia's page of the Google account and you can just hit play this game, and because it's all cloudy and shit, right?
That's interesting.
Like, you can just straight up play it. I booted up this afternoon and my internet connection sucks, so then I contacted our local internet gigabit people and I was like, hey, can you reduce the $300 installation cost? And they were like, no. And I was like, all right, bye.
Please.
I got a lot of things I got to spend $300 on, and getting better internet so I could play Google Stadia is not the top of my list.
Better internet to play your PlayStation games.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's all there. Like, you can load it up. I might do it for, like, a Patreon video or something like that. But
so that explains why I was on Twitter, people were talking about it.
Yeah.
We were talking about that game. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Well, you remember, like, it was like 2 months ago or whatever, where there was, like, a beta build that accidentally got on Stadia.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For, like, a few minutes, for, like, a couple hours or whatever. It's probably the beginning of this. But that's actually a good move on Google's part, because
it is, yeah.
If anything would convince you to go try Stadia, it would be something that you can't play anywhere else. And then if you end up liking it, you might end up giving them the $10.
Good on you, Stadia. Get your last gasp there.
They're trying. But also, there was also a... where did I see that? Oh, in the Discord, somebody put up a tweet from one of the fucking higher-ups at Stadia that used to be a Ubisoft guy. What is this, Alex Hutchinson? creative director at Google Stadia, who tweeted, "The real truth is streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use."
What?
Yeah. So
What?
That's not very good.
Doesn't make any goddamn sense.
That's some stupid shit right there. Yeah, Michael, you know the business model of Jeff from Rage Select? You know how now I have to pay like a $400 licensing fee to check out Battletoads on Game Pass because I'm quote-unquote making content on it?
It's so dumb.
This is that music bullshit all over
It is.
again.
It really is.
Speaking of music, there's going to be some new music in Fortnite, but also this is the beginning of a little segment that I put together. It's Halloween, and a lot of games have Halloween features. So one of the things that Fortnite is doing this year is called Fortnitemares. Midas's Revenge. It's this weird game mode where, like, if you die, you turn into this like weird spectral shade, and then all the shades are trying to kill the people who are still alive. Kind of like I feel like there's an Aliens game that did that. There's been some zombie modes that do that.
Yeah, like that's like the Halo zombie mode, basically.
Yeah, and apparently the shades can drive cars. Like they can kill people. They can also drive cars.
That's kind of neat.
Which is kind of fun. It's all wrapped up with some cosmetics, some Halloween themed cosmetics, and then Midas, who was, you remember him from like the Super Spy thing? He was like the leader of the guys, that the big cat guy that freaked you out.
Yeah. So I guess he died.
I don't know. I don't know.
Never really played it, so I didn't know there was a thing about it.
There was some stuff. Also, J Balvin is going to be doing a concert in Fortnite.
Hooray? Question mark?
I don't know who any of the people, like, they're never like, it's the Smiths in Fortnite, and I'll be like, oh, I'll watch the Smiths. It's always like, here's some young person you've never heard of, old man, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's for all the kids.
Yeah.
It's for the children's.
Yeah. You know, for kids. So that's happening, obviously. Red Dead Redemption Online is getting a Halloween pass that comes with some garbage.
It looks like bullshit is what it is.
It's some bullshit. There's like a camera filter. There's like some cosmetics, some like kind of stupid looking cosmetics. There's some horse helmets that are like demonic horse helmets. There's some like weapons that have some kind of spooky skins on them. And apparently there's like a whiskey bar revamp that puts like a bunch of spooky stuff in there. This is dick.
That's a bad trailer.
This is stupid. Like,
even if there's more stuff, it's a minimum a bad trailer.
Yeah, it is. Well, especially because it's like, you know, Rockstar, you made Red Dead Redemption or Undead Nightmare.
Yeah, Undead Nightmare.
You made Undead Nightmare.
One of the coolest fucking things ever.
Like, come on. Just do that.
Just do that again.
Do some zombies. Like, make some. Can you imagine how cool? Like, I would be semi-interested in going into Red Dead Online if, like, you could get one of the spectral horses.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, one of the, like, horses of the apocalypse, or if they brought back, like, some of the zombie characters from Red Dead 1. I mean, I know it's not in the fucking continuity, but, like, fuck
it's
off.
a fucking online mode. No one cares. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah. You know, Seth has turned into a necromancer and he's raising the dead, and you've got to go do a mission to hunt him down.
Some
or
cool
something.
shit, guys.
Yeah, something fun. And then in return, you get a cool horse. This is bad.
Some nonsense.
This is bullshit. This
Makes
is bullshit.
me sad.
Yeah. On the other hand, what I didn't expect to be less bullshit was the Call of Duty Warzone offering called The Haunting of Verdansk, which apparently is making the map dark, so it's nighttime instead of daytime. There's going to be some zombie stuff in here, not like the full-on zombie mode from Call of Duty, but like some hordes of zombies that you might have to shoot. But then the big thing is that they're adding in two like kind of premium skin packs. One which is Leatherface, which is interesting because Leatherface has a machine gun that is like looks like a chainsaw as part of his skin pack. And then the other one, which is Jigsaw from the Saw movies.
So it's like the puppet of Jigsaw that Jigsaw uses as a full guy.
Doesn't he? He wears that mask at some point, doesn't he?
I don't know. I only watched like a handful of those movies at most.
The puppet,
and he dies really early on, which makes even less sense.
Yeah. Well, then it's like all prequels and throwbacks, and like I had a plan for everything.
He was like, "Son of a bitch, I'm in."
Yeah. this is fun. It's fine.
It's a fun little thing.
It's fine. Like both of those cosmetics are part of their whole like cosmetic pack.
Yeah.
They've got this like super edgy trailer where they have a really slow version of Black Hole Sun, like you do,
Which is already a pretty slow song to begin with.
When you have, I mean, like it's super slow.
Yeah, it's even way slower than that.
I didn't even realize what song it was because it was so fucking slow. I was like, I know this song, but you're putting these huge gaps between every part of the lyrics.
That's fun. That's a fun idea.
But yeah, I mean, it's some free spooky shit for Halloween. Go into Call of Duty, play some Call of Duty. Rocket League is getting some Halloween stuff, some Ghostbuster stuff. You were telling me the Ecto 1 has been in there for a while, right?
Yeah, the Ecto 1 itself has been part of the game for quite some time now.
But then also said they've got some like spooky, like a Slimer skin and like a pink Gozer skin.
Like I think part of it might also be there was a specific game type that came out when it came out.
Yeah.
That was like a ghost hunting thing.
Okay.
Where like instead of just hitting the ball, like you also like caught ghosts that way or something like that.
You guys, you call me when they put out a Scoleri Brothers skin because that's what I want.
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Actually, no. What I want is I want one skin for the judge that sentences the Scoleri Brothers. It's the Scoleri Brothers, and then I want another
Call
one
the Hammer
that is Walter Peck, the EPA skin. I want the most mundane skins,
just like the random dudes in the background.
Yeah, I want like the
Bobby Brown who answers the door skin.
Yeah, I want a skin for Call of Duty Warzone that's like one of the first campers that gets killed in a Friday the 13th movie.
The one no one talks about.
Right, like the first one, you know. I want Jason's mom's skin for Call of Duty Verdansk.
But only her. Only her. Jason never appears. Not once.
Jason. Yep, not Jason. Also, very strange, Mortal Shell, that kind of cool like Dark Souls game that I was all into for a week and a half, is getting a weird update where there's like some cosmetic skins that are kind of semi-Halloween-y.
They're really nice looking, actually.
Yeah, they're also getting like it was like Burning Corpse or something. There's like some metal band that's doing some
Rotting Christ.
Rotting Christ is doing some alternative boss music, and then like there's a photo mode, and all that's being added in their autumn update. Which, hey man, I'm glad they've got the time to add some new stuff.
Good for them.
It's just really weird. Like you never. It's like all the rest of the games on this list are online games. And this has no online. Like, there's no invasion mechanic. There's nothing. Like, it's very strange that you see a single player game get a weird update. Also, there's like some pumpkin headed dudes, and
good for them.
Yeah, sounds good. And then let's see. There's a few others that I just wanted to run down. We talked about Borderlands 3 and Overwatch is getting one. Destiny 2 has got something. Animal Crossing New Horizons, apparently you can like grow pumpkins, which is like the first thing you can grow.
Yeah, Animal Crossing fucking loves holiday anything. Thing. They were the best at it.
Team Fortress 2 has
they're still kicking.
Yeah, has some holiday stuff. World of Warcraft is doing some holiday stuff. Guild Wars 2. Did you know Guild Wars 2 was still happening?
I didn't know that either.
Apex Legends has some stuff. Pokemon Go has like a bunch of the ghost types, I guess, are prevalent.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I think that might be it. Oh, yeah, Dead by Daylight has a thing. I hear everybody's mad about that, but I don't know why.
No idea.
Killing Floor 2, which is already kind of a horror game, has some stuff as well. So, if you play any game online, it seems like they got some kind of Halloween stuff for you.
Yeah.
In other spooky news, we got a teaser for Darkest Dungeon 2, which will really, really, really excite, like, 9 people.
Yeah, it could be neat.
Yeah. There's not really a whole lot here. It's like very kind of atmospheric, and they're showing the characters. I'm really kind of curious to know, like, Darkest Dungeon has been updated and updated and expanded and updated. I'm wondering what's going to be different about this one.
Yeah.
I do like it. It's very kind of cool looking. One of the things that's interesting is apparently it's going to be coming next year. It's going to be coming in early access, and it's going to be coming to the Epic Game Store. I don't know if we're still mad. Michael, are we still mad when things are only on the Epic Game Store?
I'm sure they are. I just haven't had to talk to anybody who was mad about it anymore.
Okay.
Since I switched jobs.
How about you people listening? Are you guys still mad when stuff is Epic Games exclusive? I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
Like
I don't really care anymore.
I'm playing like hundreds of hours of Hades, and I got it on the Epic Game Store because that's where it launched.
Yeah. I don't see the issues anymore.
Yep. Let's see. From there, we also got 14 minutes, almost 14 minutes of Scorn on the Xbox Series X. Anybody who's like, what? Scorn is that HR Giger game that they're making.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't actually know very much about it because it was like they would show some trailers, but it was mostly like atmospheric. So we never got to see what actual like gameplay for the game looks like. It appears to be like a weird first-person shooter / walking simulator puzzle hybrid. Like you have to walk up to a bunch of meaty-looking panels and shove something that looks like a dick in it to open a door. And there's like a bunch of weird mutated creatures that are walking around.
Yeah, it's Geiger, all right.
It very much is. Like the gun that you have you have to like take the front off of it. And I didn't make Michael watch this, but it's got this really like wet slapping meaty sound to it. The one thing that struck me about this, Michael, was you remember how I was talking about how like I don't really know what ray traced lighting looks like.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can kind of see it in here with the way that it's like hazy and it bounces off of the stuff and reflects.
It's very responsive.
Very naturalistic. Yeah. But for anybody that's curious, this was not what I expected this particular game to be.
I don't think anyone really knew what to expect with this.
Yeah. There's like one part, it's obviously not meant to be like a super shooter game. Like there's one part where the character gets some ammo, and when they reload their quote fingers gun, like it takes a long time to put the ammo in the gun. Like they animate putting in these little beads like one at a time, and it takes quite a while. But
it's an interesting looking weapon too.
Yeah. It's very strange. The whole game is real weird looking. I'm wondering if the thing that I wondered when I watched this too was it's very abstract because of the Giger influence. So like the person that's playing this obviously kind of like knows what they're doing and where to go and what to do. But I'm wondering without any like points of reference that make any sense if it's going to be something where you get lost real easy because you're like, oh, I got to find that one piece of goo. But it doesn't look like anything. It looks like all the rest of the goo.
Everything is very similar, but it's very atmospheric. So
reminds me of the way that Agony. I would get really lost in Agony because everything looked like demon dicks.
I could definitely see that.
So, but it does look very good.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that look really good, we got a trailer for Rambo.
Yeah, holy shit. He has a lot of shit.
See, like I don't know, 90% of his moves seem to be like sticking that big Rambo knife in people.
Well, that's true too, but he's got a lot of traps.
Oh yeah, a lot of
great little crawl.
Yeah, it's funny how they're very much like leaning into the Rambo First Blood, Rambo, not necessarily the later, more stupid Rambo.
Like one of his outfits is like clearly the outfit he had from First Blood.
Yeah, with like the poncho, like Halloween poncho. There's a lot of like, falling into traps that just come out of the ground. There's one move where he like gets down on the ground and like shoulder crawls really quickly towards the other person.
Just stabs them in the leg once he gets to them.
Yeah, there's a lot of stabbing with the knife, even though he's totally got the bow and arrow. The bow and arrow does seem like it goes into stuff. What did you think about? I mean, obviously the big question is the super attack. What do they call that? Like the vicious attack or whatever it is.
Almost said X-ray, but I can't even remember what they're called anymore.
Vital attack, something like that.
Something like that.
But then what do you think about the?
His fatality is brutal as fuck. Like holy shit!
He rips the other person's windpipe out with his bare hands.
Fucking yeah!
And it goes into Mortal Kombat slow motion. I'll be honest with you, Michael. I've watched every single character from every Mortal Kombat 11 do all their fatalities, and I watched this one. I was just like, "That's a bit much, right there."
I flinched when he ripped out his fucking throat.
That happens in the movie, right? There's like one,
maybe I haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah,
but it's so brutal compared to so many other people's fatalities,
and it goes into slow motion.
Yeah,
with him holding the trachea in his hand.
At first, it's like, well, he stabs him with a knife, and then a trap happens, and you're like, oh, that's a neat fatality, and then he fucking rips out his throat. It's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, it ends on the slow motion of him doing it too.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god.
Like when they did the slow motion.
And that's just one of his fatalities. I don't even know what his other one looks like now.
Yeah. It's like when they when they went into slow motion at the end with the pizza from the Ninja Turtles in Injustice 2. It was like, oh, that's delicious. When they go to slow motion here, I'm just like, take it away, take it away, take it away,
Jesus,
take it away.
fuck. Because I remember they showed the bow, and I was wondering if he was going to play like one of the combat kids, as they're lovingly called.
Oh
in
yeah,
MKX, the guy with the bow. I was expecting more like that, but no, he's not anything close to that.
Nope.
One of his attacks is that he just pulls fucking machine guns from the ground.
Oh yeah,
Shoots the
two
shit out of him.
M60s up. And,
It's like, fuck, dude, you have so much shit going for you.
Yep, it'll be interesting.
He's like somehow the most excited I've been for any of the three characters.
This is getting free upgrade, right?
Yeah, this is getting a free
PS5
upgrade. So, yeah,
upgrade.
very exciting.
Oh, you're the only person I know that has another. Well, you're the only person I know who has a PS5, but you have another controller. We'll have to.
Yeah,
I
do have another. We'll have another PS5 controller.
By the time this comes out, I think we'll probably have them. So
hopefully
we could play some Combat Pack 2 PS5.
You're fucking great.
We also got a trailer for the Ancient Gods, first expansion for Doom Eternal, which I've been hearing nothing but good stuff about.
Yeah, I've been hearing only 90% really good stuff. The only bad stuff I hear is that people are having issues getting it because of some issues with the collector edition codes or something.
Okay.
Like that.
The part that stuck out to me most in this trailer was there's a part where there's a shark coming for the Doom guy, and I'm like, what are you going to do, shark? What are you... This guy...
Today's the day the shark says. I'm going to show them.
I guess it's like the guys in Arkham City that decide that they could fucking beat up Batman. It's like that shark's just like, yep, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to take down the Doom Slayer.
Throw a shark at him.
Because honestly, if there's a shark in the game and it's hostile, Michael, that means we're going to be able to shoot it until it flashes and do a fucking finishing move on it.
Oh my god, and you just made me excited about that idea.
I mean, I better be able to do a glory kill on a shark.
Yeah, dear listeners, I forgot that Doom Eternal wasn't installed on my fucking PS4 right now, so I gotta reinstall that first and all the updates and stuff.
I mean, super big spoiler alert. Amanda and I are going to be playing it. We finally finished Control.
Oh, okay.
So we're just going to go to the expansion for Doom.
It's a good move.
Just bouncing back and forth. So we also got, I didn't make Michael watch this, a 4-minute trailer talking about the post-launch content that's coming for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There's going to be like three different stories. There's one called Wrath of the Druids. There's one that's going to be apparently at some point in history the Vikings sieged Paris, like ancient Paris.
Well, that's neat.
That's going to be one of them. There's also going to be a Beowulf piece of content.
I'm cool with that though. I love Beowulf. This is the very story of Beowulf.
Yeah.
You have to fight it naked.
I don't think so. They're
Just
also
fight a
apparently
naked Beowulf coming at you. Oh Jesus!
they're going to be doing like seasonal updates that then I think tie in. Like the first one's going to be at Christmas. It's going to be like a holiday thing. So, but I don't know. This Beowulf one makes it seem like it's a bunch of like supernatural shit going down. Isn't it like the 13th Warrior? Like at one point there's like a big glowing Grendel looking motherfucker. So that actually would be the only thing I'd be kind of excited about. Yeah, I'm still. I don't know. I'm getting real.
I also forgot to mention something weird about the Doom Eternal DLC.
What's that?
Is that there's a standalone version of it.
I saw that.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out which one to buy, and I was like, what is this? And I finally looked at it. It's like, this is the version if you don't have any of the game. I'm like,
why would you do that?
Buy this as separate a game, I guess?
Oh, I bet I know why.
Why?
Because it's on Game Pass.
Oh.
So if you wanted to buy it but not connect it to something that might go off of Game Pass someday, there would be an option for you to basically keep the expansion without, because I bet that there's
That's fascinating.
Maybe the expansion has like, I don't know this for sure, but I speculate like if you own the expansion but you don't own the main game, you can also still play like the multiplayer.
That's possible.
I don't know. I bet it's because of Game Pass though.
But yeah, it did make it difficult for me to figure out which one to buy though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still going to give this one a shot. I would like it to be good. It's not even that this game looks bad. It actually looks all right. Just Ubisoft has burned me a bunch of times. So
well, Assassin's Creed itself has burned me enough to make, and I just haven't cared about Assassin's Creed in so long, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's been years.
We also got a showcase trailer for Fallout 4 New Vegas. This is one of those crazy ass. I'm so glad that Ubisoft isn't like, or not Ubisoft, but Bethesda isn't as like litigious as like Nintendo about this stuff, because There's like this team that's been trying to recreate all of Fallout New Vegas in Fallout 4 engine, and like I look at this trailer and it's not like they're just using the stuff from there. Like they have the ants and like the geckos and like those were not in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
So they're obviously putting in like new assets. And this looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Like,
yeah, they're going for it, and hopefully no one will last minute fuck them on this one.
You know, if Microsoft was smart, they would just buy this team off and be like, we'll give you guys $1 million to finish this in like 6 months and all the resources that we have, because they have the licenses to be able to legally put out
That's the thing.
Fallout New Vegas as a product. If this came out and they like spent like, you know, a year polishing it, making it like super good, and then it was fucking $60, I think I would buy it.
A lot of people would. That's the thing. People consistently keep asking for one of two things: either a new New Vegas, or a remaster of New Vegas.
Yeah,
consistently.
Yeah. So I really hope they do this I really hope it's good. It at least means that I'm not going to have to install New Vegas and then install like 600 mods when I want to play it to make it not look like garbage. And then in a total break from all of our horror destruction, The Sims 4 has a Snowy Escape trailer that came out this week. I'm mostly bringing this up for one reason, Michael. I want to know if people want to see more adventures from Sim Jeff in The Sims 4. Do you guys want to see Sim Jeff go to a Japanese mountain resort?
I still think that's the weirdest thing about this thing.
That it's Japanese themed?
Yeah, because they're just like, yeah, snow. By the way, you're in Japan. Wait,
you're
what?
also in Japan. It's also like all Japanese themed, like hot springs.
Like it feels like almost like an afterthought at first until it gets to the actual like rest of it.
Yeah. Also, there's a part in this where a Sim is getting crawled on by a giant fucking centipede, and I don't understand that because, like, that doesn't seem like the sort of thing that would be super fun in your lighthearted Sims game. There's a part where they're in this forest, and there's like a goddamn Titanic centipede like walking around on this lady, and it's like everybody's like, ha ha ha, tee hee. I'm like, no, get it off. Ah!
It's gonna kill me. You
So,
sick
yeah.
fucks, don't you see death? He's right there.
Yeah, so if anybody wants me to keep doing that, let me know. If there's enough interest, maybe I'll go back.
They probably will. Yeah.
I totally made Sim Jeff. Like, he's there. He's got his fucking
He's
YouTube
very
career.
accurate.
He's got a lot of eccentricities, and he's ready to go on adventures, right?
Yeah.
I'll go find the winter clothes. I'll put on the jeans instead of the jorts and find a big gray jacket for him. We can take him to the mountains. Have some fun. Find that black beanie so that I look like a ship captain.
Oh yeah.
With my jacket. So yeah. And that's coming November 13th.
Oh, that's interesting.
$15. We got some other new releases. Apparently, the remasters of Grim Fandango, Day of the Tentacle, and Full Throttle are all coming to the Xbox Game Pass this month.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. Which all of those are very solid. I actually think that Day of the Tentacle and Full Throttle hold up a little better because they went back in and redid all of the art for it. Grim Fandango is an incredibly charming game that is wonderful, but it is a little long in the tooth graphics-wise.
It is, but I think that's part of its charm.
Yeah. So if you're looking for that, October 29th, if you're looking for something to play, hey, if you're looking for something to play on Halloween, you can get Grim Fandango and play the Day of the Dead, right? You know, a bunch of skeletons and shit. That tracks. That works. Okay, I've got another story here, Michael. I got another release story. So an old game is getting a physical release on the PlayStation 4 in Europe, like the Middle East, and I don't know if it's getting released in Japan as well. It's an old game. It came out this year in a remastered edition, and I want you to guess what it is. Take a wild guess. You'll never guess.
It's a remaster?
Yes, it got remastered. Got put out, remastered. It wasn't like remade. It was just a remaster, but it did have some things added to it. You'll never guess.
I have nothing.
It's a sequel.
It's a sequel?
It's a sequel
remaster?
It's a sequel.
Saints Row the Third?
No.
But actually, I think that came out physically anyways.
Final Fantasy VIII.
8? Okay.
Yep. It's getting a collector's edition release in Europe, the Middle East, Australia, and New Zealand.
Oh, that's a weird set of countries for that.
It is not being released in the United States. Now, the PS4 is not region locked, so you could technically import a copy and play it. But Weird.
What's it supposed to come with?
Nothing. It's just the game. It's
That's
like a
just the
disc
case?
with the game. Yeah. At least as near as I could tell.
That's weird. I never would have guessed that. Yeah, in a million years.
They made some updates to it. It even has the the white backing that would make it like line up with the other Final Fantasy games that have come out.
That's interesting.
Yeah, real strange, real bizarre. Somebody send me a copy. No, you can't have my address. In other news, we got some job listings that seem to indicate that there might be a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima in the works. This is one of those things where they're looking for a narrative writer and an associate outsource artist with specific familiarity with traditional Japanese culture and history. Would be
cool.
nice. It goes right up to the edge of saying this is for a sequel, but never does. I'm starting to wonder, though, if this isn't a sequel, but if the Sony has seen how much interest there's been in Spider-Man, and they want to do a Ghost of Tsushima PS5 quick and dirty expansion.
That's possible, actually.
Thing.
Or maybe they'll make a Batman Ninja game.
Ooh. Wait a minute. That's the one where the monkeys turn into Batman. No, the monkeys turn into a big monkey, and then the bats come, and then the monkeys and the bats turn into a giant Batman.
Giant 1941 Batman.
Never mind. I take it all back.
Or giant 1939 Batman.
Also, by the way, that Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer mode is fucking awesome. Like, it's really cool.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Especially as it was a thing that just randomly came out.
Yep. I would play it, but I'm closing in on the end of Hades. So.
I still haven't bought Ghost of Tsushima. I think about it.
It's a great time because now it's got New Game Plus and it's got some new vendors and a bunch of new stuff in it. So.
I keep meaning to, but I've been spending my money on a lot of things.
There's a lot of shit to spend your money on, man. So here's a story that we've heard before. A group called, let's see, they were led by a Mario modder named Kaze Emanur, was making a Zelda fan game. Apparently, they were using assets from
Say No More,
Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time to try to make a fan game that bridged the two stories. And yeah, it's been shut down because you can't say that shit out loud.
The second you say it out loud, fucking somebody dressed like Link shows up to your house and stabs you.
Yep.
And then takes all your shit.
Yep. You should be making some Fallout content because Nintendo does not play around. If you were planning on
making a Zelda game in Fallout is what he's saying.
Exactly. You would have a better chance doing that.
Yeah.
Did you know that like once upon a time I had this idea that I thought was absolutely crazy where I was going to be like, I'm going to make a full 3D stealth game and then put it out on Steam for like $20. And then I'm going to create a total conversion for my own game to make it into Metal Gear Solid and put that patch on torrent sites.
Oh my God.
So it's like, and it fits perfect. Like there'll be like a mod section, but I won't have any mod support except for my own mod that turns the game. So it's like, oh, here's my game. It's kind of crappy. It's a stealth game, and there's all those mechanics are there. It's like $10. Whatever, it's fine. But like if you go get the thing that's free, it turns into Metal Gear.
It becomes Metal Gear Solid outright.
And that way I could get paid for Metal Gear, right? Like I could get paid for Metal Gear. And Konami will be like, cease and desist. And I'll be like, it's its own game.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to some
mod.
Intrepid modder.
Some crafty modder.
Turn that shit into
some sexy, handsome modder.
I hear that modder's dick is so big. Speaking of huge dicks, they took Steve's giant pork chop out of Minecraft.
I heard about this, yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't see the story last week, on the Smash Brothers windscreen for Steve, he was holding a pork chop, and it kind of just looked like he had his dick hanging out. That is no longer the case. Boo.
Yeah, they didn't even try to replace it with anything.
Yeah, they just
outright
just took it out of his hand. Yeah, come on, Nintendo, let us have some fun. Well, I tell you what, you may not be able to get any pork chops out of Nintendo, but I know where you can get some crabs. So this is a weird story. There is a tournament in Japan called Toyama Gamers Day, and one of the games that is being played in the tournament is the Switch version of Fight Crab.
Oh my God.
Which is apparently really big in Japan because it's made by the guy that made that God of Seafood.
That's also batshit insane, to be honest.
Laserfish game. And apparently they're giving away crabs as the prize, which apparently has something to do with like they have some kind of thing about giving away cash prizes at like an esports competition. It's
because it's some sort of gambling thing, probably.
Yeah. So apparently they're giving away crabs, but they're not just giving away any crabs. They're giving away crabs from this Toyama region that are called Beni Zuaigani, that are red snow crabs, and they're a local delicacy. And a single red snow crab can be around $28, and they're giving away something like 140 of them or something like that.
That's so weird.
So, yeah, you get some crabs. You can go play some games, get some crabs.
I think that's kind of a basic, though.
Oh, fight crab.
And then you can get them to fight each other.
Yeah. And then once you've eaten all your crabs and you need to work off a little bit of your crab weight that you're carrying around from the winter time, the man who, there's one YouTuber who is basically modded the Ring Fit into as many games as he possibly can. I should say who it is. It's Super Lewis 64, and we talked about this when he modded Dark Souls.
Oh, that's right. This is the same guy.
Same guy, and he has now modded Breath of the Wild to be played with the Ring Fit controller, and like, you have to like basically. He talked about how climbing is very difficult because you literally have to like move your legs up and down to climb, and running and all that stuff. This just seems like it would be a ridiculous amount of work.
Yeah, like look, he also apparently modded Mario Kart 8 with it. Yeah, you gotta jog to accelerate.
You run to go forward.
Oh my god.
Yeah. If I played one Breath of the Wild, you have to squat. You have to do a squat to open the menu in Breath of the Wild.
Jesus Christ!
My legs would be the size of hams. They would be like huge, huge hams.
Be a great way to lose weight, though.
My legs would be the size of PlayStation 5s, skinny and big,
just thick.
Yeah,
the thickest.
All right. Well, Michael, I think we've got a little time.
Yeah, we got some time.
We got a little bit of time, so let's do some questions. Oh shit! I rebooted and then I didn't open up the question machines. All right.
Well, you can pull off some of
the Discords. Yeah. Start with the Discord question. Let's see. Where did I? God, every time I come in, it doesn't tell me the same thing. Okay, we got that one. We did that one. We did that one. Jonathan Scratch writes in and says, Jonathan Scratch wrote this 2 months ago.
Oh, Jesus.
Dear Jeff, you beautiful bastard, what do you think would be more doable, beating the new fucking Battletoads bike level or beating the final boss of Sekiro? What the fuck, video games?
I beat the Battletoads level.
Michael beat the Battletoads
so
level.
I'm thinking that is the answer.
Chris and I beat the Battletoads level. We did at the end of the video.
Oh, okay.
You know, we got through it.
That's right. Yeah, you did.
In the second video. So this might have been when the first one came out. Of course, there is like a second one, right? There's a second.
Yeah, there's a second level, but there's also a level that's just batshit insane. That is very difficult.
Yeah,
but that was amazing for me because I played it by myself, but I don't see it being easy on a co-op.
Persia King 44 asked a follow-up question, saying, "Which to you is the worst personal hell? Having to defeat the final boss of Sekiro, but the entire fight is also the bike level from the new Battletoads." Or being surrounded by people constantly complaining about how hard Dark Souls is and you can't tune them out. Stay awesome. Well, so here's the deal. One, I can beat the bike levels in Battletoads. Like, if I sat down, I could totally play Battletoads. It'd be irritating, but I could do it.
No.
I tried the last boss of Sekiro for like a week and was like, this is no fun and I'm not doing anything. On the other hand, you assume that if there were people all around me talking about how hard Dark Souls is, it wouldn't be like I'm not trapped in here with them.
Oh, okay.
They're trapped in here with me because I will for hours be like, it's really not that difficult. Like, yes, it is. Like, no, dude, I can tell you why it's not difficult. I can tell you why it's not difficult for 5 video games. Sit down. Let's get started. Somebody bring me a whiteboard. I got to talk about how you guys are all pussies.
It's true.
All right, here's the first thing. You lose experience points in video games all the time. That's happened since time immemorial. Like, oh, video games are hard? That's not true. Like, go back and play Pac-Man and Dragon Quest and tell me how hard Dark Souls is.
I'll play Ghosts and Goblins.
Fuck yeah. There's always been hard video games.
Super hard.
I don't feel like either one of those is bad. Like, you're just like, would you like a sandwich with hot sauce or like French fries that aren't all the way cooked? And I'm like, I don't know. Neither one of those is like hell on earth or anything.
They're just like, okay, I just won't eat the fries, I guess.
So Yeah, you guys gotta, man. I trained at the knee of Jason Murphy. You gotta come up. You gotta get up earlier in the morning than that.
The Kobayashi Mafus are sad.
Yeah. We got so here's one of the questions. We got a question last week from Septum Sin, who said, "Dear Rage Lords, I know it's been a while, and I'm sure that the new systems will long be out by the time you get to this, but I remember you asking what it is that changed the expectations of gamers when it came to wanting games to be backwards compatible and given the automatic up-res treatment when that has not been Sony's MO in the past." I don't know if... Oh, backwards compatible. Okay, right. Xbox has changed people's expectations. If it were just PlayStation, Xbox, and Xbox wasn't there, I would fully expect Sony to brick all the PS4s at launch and tell people they don't need to play PS4 games anymore. If they want to play some more, some of the more recent releases, they can for $70 plus any extra DLC or microtransactions. What they're doing now is not only highly generous, but also makes some sense due to the limitations they have on the PS5 number, leaving them to make much more if they keep supporting PS4 for at least the next year. Of course, without Microsoft putting their feet to the fire, I doubt they would do that. Xbox has made them a little scared due to the value that is Game Pass and their promise of full backwards compatibility and their willingness to have a free upgrade for all games bought on their system. In my mind, Xbox will be superior of the two systems and may well overtake Sony in the coming years, especially if Sony continues to be arrogant and not pay attention. This is coming from a former Sony fanboy, but really Xbox is setting expectations that if Sony isn't scared, they should be. Your Patreon Septimson versus the world. So the part where you talk about bricking the PS4s, I do not get the impression that this person Septimson here seems to have like this impression of Sony as like a really vindictive and shitty company. Like we've talked about this a lot of times in the past, right? But like the physical hardware on the inside of the PlayStation 3 is the reason that it's not backwards compatible, right? Like there are PS2 games on the PS4.
Yeah.
I think that if you look at the sales number on the PS3 for PS2, PS1 games, on the PS3, on the PSP, on the PS Vita, they probably didn't make it a priority, but they also have PlayStation Now, right? Like that was their solution. But like the cell processor, I feel like people are just like, well, just do it. And it's like, this isn't a willingness problem.
No, yeah.
This is like the PS3 doesn't emulate on a fucking current gen PC. Like you're talking about a system that was built from the ground up with this fucked up set of hardware cores. What did it have, like 7 cores?
It was a very ridiculous system.
And they're like different types of cores that had different specialties than like just like you're like, oh, okay, we'll just take an 8-core Intel processor or 9-core Intel processor and like assign 1 core to each one of those PlayStation things. It's like, right, but like the individual cell cores had different types of processing that happened on them. Like at this point, anybody who's ever gone back and done emulation should know, like, I'm sorry, and I don't want to feel like I'm coming at this person. Just, this comes up a lot of times. So PCSX2 is the PS2 emulator that's considered like the best PS2 emulator. They spent 2 years making the latest update to 1.6, and there's like a wiki that you can go to that literally will talk about like what are the problems with X game and how can you potentially fix them when you running it in this emulator. PS2 emulation is not 100% solid.
It's difficult. Like
there are PS2 games that I'm pretty sure the reason they're not on the PlayStation 3 is because they can't get them to emulate properly.
Yeah.
I really don't think that this is a case of like Sony is being obstinate. I think this is a case of like the reason the PS3 fatties were able to do PS2 backwards compatibility is because they literally put the processor from the PS2 inside of the box.
Yeah.
Like, and if I'm remembering correctly, didn't the PS2 have like half of a PS1 proc in it as well for backwards compatibility?
That's why they were always so big when you first bought one.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think that the problem here is that this is Sony's like unwillingness to do it. I'm sure that if they had the market, they would love to sell you every PS2 game over again. I honestly think that this is a technical hardware problem.
Well, it's always been a huge issue with. It was one of the reasons why developers were having such a hard time making PS3 games and then putting them on 360s or vice versa, because they were not similar to each other at all.
No, not at all. In fact, anybody that was alive back then, I mean, like the PS3 era, it took 2.5, 3 years for any game to look at all comparable on the PS3 as opposed to 360.
Yeah.
Like like cross-platform games ran like dog shit on the PS3, and they didn't look as good. Like, there were just the whole farm YouTube content mill of videos. They're just like, let's compare. Take your pick. Let's compare Rainbow Six Vegas on the PS3 and the. Well, I don't think it was Vegas on the. Oh yeah, Vegas.
Yeah, it was on both. Yeah,
but like the Xbox 360 kicked the shit out of the PlayStation 3 in any kind of cross-platform game because it was closer to a PC.
Yeah,
which is why they can emulate that hardware on the Xbox.
But it's also the reason their games look so fucking good.
Yeah,
because if somebody made something only for the PS3, those things looked fucking amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, if you had a PS3 only game, a lot of times they would look better than some of the 360 stuff, but it wasn't as good for cross-platform. So I honestly think that that's a thing. And then as far as like, yeah, I mean, I think that that's where the backwards compatibility comes from, is that Xbox 360 is easier to emulate because it wasn't exactly a PC, but it had a lot more in common with the PC than the cell processor.
One of my big issues with the backwards compatibility expectation, I get it. I get, that people have more about it with Microsoft, is that they're not fully backwards compatible either.
Yeah,
is that people are always like, oh, they're backwards compatible. It's like, yeah, but your definition of backwards compatible is a lot broader than it actually is, like actually doing. Because that's the thing. There's plenty of 360 games that I own that just that flat out don't work on an Xbox One.
Yeah,
and there's plenty of normal Xbox games that just flat out didn't work on the Xbox 360. Like backwards compatibility is a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
and I get that you're like, oh, they're backwards compatible, but there's a giant fucking asterisk.
Yeah,
on everything that's backwards compatible nowadays.
Yeah. And and I feel that because there's actually been a bunch of games. So, a lot of times when I go back to do when I want to do retro games or like horror games, a lot of times when I look up older games, like there's totally an Xbox version of this game, and I'm like, oh, cool, I would love to play that. Is it on the backwards compatibility list? No. There's like 5 original Xbox games on there, or more than that, but like there's not a huge all
amount
of them,
and they're just random ass ones too.
Yeah,
like they never really fully make sense to me. It's like, oh, can I play Marvel vs. Capcom, whatever, or not even like SVC Chaos from Xbox to any of the other ones? It's like, no. It's like, well, what do you got? What do you like? Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb? It's like,
do you want to play Star Wars?
Fucking what?
Battlefront 2 for the original Xbox? Like
it's just weird, like the setup that some of them have, and you're just like, that doesn't make any sense. And then people will be like, it's completely backwards compatible. It's like, it's not. You keep saying it. You can keep saying it, but it's not.
Fuck. The PC isn't backwards compatible. No. I wanted to play a horror game for this year's Asylum that was a Windows 98 game, and it wouldn't install on Windows 10. I went as far as to start the beginning of trying to set up a virtual PC running Windows 98 inside of my Windows 10 environment, which you could totally do, until I got to the point where they're like, well, you need to have a valid installation for Windows XP. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going to pick a different game. This is too much.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think it's as cut and dry. And I think that if you look, I mean, last week we had was it last week or the week before, where we had Sony had 8 games that wouldn't work from the PS4 era to the PS5 era. I think it's going to be a lot easier now, but I think that when you start going back, I mean, it'd be like asking why you couldn't play NES games on the Super Nintendo.
Well, hell, when I went to buy Doom Eternal, there was a new message on there that I'd never seen before. That was a warning about playing this on the PS5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it straight up said, "Hey, by the way, if you play this on PS5, you may run into some issues," outright. And that's a current new game.
The game came out this year.
Yeah, that's saying, hey, if you play this on the next gen, you might run into some issues. I'd never seen that message before, but it's a good indication of backwards compatibility, even from PS4 to PS5 and maybe even Xbox One. That's Xbox Series X. May not be as cut and dry as anybody thinks.
Yep. And I mean, I'm going to go back to just address really briefly the whole I really don't think that the Xbox and the PlayStation are competing with each other anymore.
They're not. They stopped competing with each other the second that Sony decided not to do E3.
Yeah, they were just like, we're not really competing anymore with each other. We're our own thing. Xbox is its own thing. Nintendo outright did that before everyone else did. Yeah. The second they left E3 was them signaling, hey, we're our own thing. You guys do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah. It seems like Microsoft is really going for this multi-device Xbox, PC, phone. It's the thing that Phil Spencer said about Elder Scrolls, right?
I think it's great though. Like as like the guy said, he was a former Sony fanboy kind of thing, and I get it. I get why people are willing to jump ship the second they hear stuff like backwards compatibility.
Sure,
because that goes a long way. But the thing is that a lot of people who are championing it keep saying it and keep seeing this vision of it that doesn't exist.
And the thing is that, in all honesty, I think that we have a better shot for backwards compatibility because here's the thing. Like, the PS5 may be PS4 backwards compatible, but it's not going to be PS3 backwards compatible.
Yeah.
It's not going to be PS2 backwards compatible. It's not going to be I can play any PS2 game that I buy on my PS5 frame perfect, right? Like, and the same is true with the Xbox. Like you said, you can play some Xbox games, but there's a bunch of Xbox games that if you want to play them, you're going to need an Xbox.
No.
So the problem that I'm running into is that, like, we are actually living in a time where backwards compatibility is a lot easier for this gen, for the coming gen, and moving forward, it will probably be fine.
Yeah.
But, like, nothing Microsoft is doing is going to help me play PS2 games.
No.
And nothing Sony's doing is Sony doesn't even have PS2 games on the now, right? Like, that's
no, not that I can think of.
Yeah,
as far as like you can buy some, but I think they're designed to be done on that system.
Yeah, they have a smattering. They're like Xbox. They have a smattering on the PS3, which is one of the reasons I keep a PS3 around. PS1 and PS2 games that you can buy, but like nothing that happens moving forward is going to help me play PS2 games. That's why I was saying we're talking about that TurboGrafx thing. Like, I would buy one of those if they made a hardware set that could run PS2 games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there are a lot of PS2 games that you just can't play. They've never remastered them. They've never re-released them. They're locked to the hardware, and the hardware doesn't even have a fucking HDMI port. I went through 5 different aftermarket solutions to get that thing plugged into my capture box, and even now it's like, so
yeah, PS2s are PS2s are made for a very long time, and then now they don't even make them, so now it's even harder. Somewhat harder even now to be a PS2 fan.
Do you know what the best backwards compatibility solution for the PS2 is?
What's that?
An original PS3.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
because it's got the hardware in it and it's got an HDMI port, and that's something that
it can run that as well as PS1 games. The PS3 was a powerhouse of a system that ran into the fact that it was very expensive the first time it came out.
It's way overpriced. But I actually have one. I have a dead one, and I've actually been thinking about like. I had this plan a while back to try doing soldering on this, like, it should just like Game Boy refurbs, right?
Oh, okay.
And I want to do that because I want to learn the soldering skills to be able to tear down my PS3, and you can do like a full refresh on the chips that cause the yellow light of death to like get it back to working order. But I want to like know how to do it because I have a PS3 and I could plug it in. I could get my copy of WWE All-Stars out of it. I could put PlayStation 2 games in and play them, for fuck's sake. But, yep. All right, let's do one more and then we'll be done here. Let's see. We did one Discord. We did one... You know what? I'm gonna save this pantry moth question for later. Somebody else had pantry moths and they wrote in. And we're going to finish up with Easy Street. Professor Fett writes in. This one's only like a month and a half old. So,
okay.
Hey, Jeff and Michael, I have a question about something that is bothering me with Disney movies lately. I have an issue. This company owns too many properties, is too safe, and will never take chances. Now that they own X-Men, we will never see another Logan or Rated R Deadpool again. Then no superhero stuff. They're just rehashing the 2D animated stuff into live action, which I hate. Because it's just the same movie with minor tweaks. Do you guys feel this way? Is there something Disney is doing that maybe I am missing that isn't just them repackaging old properties? Really quick, this normally would be whatever, but you can't get away from Disney stuff in pop culture news. For me, it's adding fuel to my fire. So Disney is too safe. I actually think that's true. That a lot of the time, this current... kind of Bob Iger era, right?
Well, I definitely feel it in the movie side. The movie side, the movie side of Disney is very, very, very safe.
Yeah,
like it's 90% superhero films, 90 for a giant chunk of fucking remake stuff, and then you get every now and then you get like a Disney animated film that might be kind of interesting.
The trailer this week for that new one with the lady, the kind of Asian-inspired dragon one.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's exactly what I mean. Like every now and then, like you might get one of their Disney animated ones that has an idea behind it, kind of thing. But yeah, movie wise, they're just consistently just keeping it safe. Like I don't know if we'll never see another R-rated Deadpool. Like that seems to be one of the ones that they may actually go with, but it would definitely be a much harder time getting something like Logan made. Definitely.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen this happen before, though.
Yeah, that's the thing is a lot of studios go through stuff like this.
Is that like the only reason that we got the MCU was because superhero movies had been so devalued by making shitty versions over the years.
Yeah.
They were just like, I don't know. Wait, Jon Favreau want? Sure, give it to the Swingers guy. Yeah, fine, whatever. I don't give a shit. Iron Man. Yeah, nobody cares about Iron Man.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck about Iron Man.
Give the Swingers guy. Robert Downey Jr. The drunk? Oh, he's sober now? Oh, yeah, okay.
He's cheap? Okay, yeah,
right.
let's do that.
Okay. the washed up ex-drunk and the Swingers guy want to make an Iron Man movie. Here's $10 million. Get the fuck out of my face.
Good luck with that.
Right. And then, because, like, you look at phase 1 of the MCU and, like, Kenneth Branagh does Thor.
Yeah, they got the Shakespeare guy to do Thor.
Yeah.
And they got the Rocketeer guy to do Captain America.
And they got fucking Joss Whedon to do the big put them together movie.
Like the only one that out of the only ones of the original phase ones that like doesn't fully work is the Hulk one.
Yeah.
And even then it's because it's clear they don't really know what they're doing yet.
No.
Like it
was like an afterthought.
Like Ed Norton's here, he wants to help write it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure this shit out.
And then phase 2, James Gunn, the PG porn guy, the lollipop chainsaw guy.
The PG porn guy. Every time somebody brings up James Gunn or about Guardians of the Galaxy, they always want to bring up Super.
Yeah.
No one ever wants to bring up PG porn. Like one of my favorite gags of PG porn I think of to this day is it's one of his old vids is that this woman comes in and like he's a mechanic, or James Gunn's a mechanic, and she keeps trying to come onto him, and he just keeps like being a normal guy. And then the end of it is my favorite part because there's this big box of kittens. And she's just like he says like there's a pussy gag earlier on, and because he's like, nice pussy. He's like, oh, thank God. And he's like, yeah, that's a box of kittens. And so he's like, can I keep one? She's like, sure. And he's like, oh, great. I can't wait to fuck one. And that's how it ends. And it cracks me up every fucking time. And I keep looking at that, and I'm like, that guy made a Marvel film.
Like, okay, so we went through phase 1, but remember, phase 2 started with Shane Black's Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, Iron Man 3.
And then there was Captain America Winter Soldier with the Russo brothers went on to do stuff, but like they were
prior to that, they were the community directors.
Yes, very unknown.
That's all they were known for at that point.
Guardians of the Galaxy with James Gunn, Avengers Age of Ultron, which I feel like is where you started to see the meddling, because that one felt weird. And
that one was a strange one. Although Thor the Dark One, I don't even remember who directed that one.
Oh, I don't know.
That was one of the first like not failures, but
yeah,
it definitely was one of the ones that people don't like.
Alan Taylor.
I don't even know who did it.
Palookaville. He directed Terminator Genesis after Thor the Dark World.
Jesus.
I don't never heard of any of these. Palookaville, The Emperor's New Clothes, and Kill the Poor. And like a bunch of...
And I wonder why this movie turned out weird.
Episodes of The Sopranos and The West Wing.
Maybe that's why they got him.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, maybe that's why they got him. I was like, yeah, this guy does interesting things.
I guess you say, hey, Game of Thrones guy, come direct my Thor movie.
Or Sopranos guy, because it's probably even before that.
But then remember also that Ant-Man was supposed to be Edgar Wright.
Yeah, he's been working on it before the MCU was even a thing.
Yep, and then they shoot him out of there to make it. That was where it started, right? They started kind of flattening it out. But even when you get to phase 3, you get to things like, I mean, we all know Cargill, but like just you're given fucking Doctor Strange to the Sinister guys, the horror movie guys.
Exactly, like it's just a series of weird decisions, and it all paid off at the end. But I think they went back to being really safe after this point.
Well, I feel like it started to get really safe as it went on.
Yeah, no, it absolutely did. And then they made some risks again, with Infinity War. But even then, it was because it was just the Russos again.
Yeah. Civil War. Doctor Strange, Guardians Volume 2, Spider-Man, Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok was Taika Waititi.
That was definitely a hell of a risk.
Black Panther, I mean, in retrospect, Black Panther, right? Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Creed guy?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of the decisions are very strange for the most part. But yeah, one of the things I want to bring up though, because I think their animation department has been hella creative though. Like their animation has been consistently like coming out with some amazingly interesting things. Some of the stuff is like, sure, some of them are made by people who already made other things, like the Phineas and Ferb guy. They made a show called Milo Murphy's Law or something like that. That's the main character is voiced by Weird Al Yankovic. And then there's the new DuckTales is amazing. Like they've taken a lot of great risks with with letting them do pretty much damn near anything they want in the new DuckTales. There's a show, I forgot the name of it, but I think it's called Ribbit or something. It's about a girl who's transported into a world where everybody's like a frog, but she's the only like human being there.
Okay.
Kind of thing. It's a lot of fun because it works on the whole like fish out of water kind of thing. There's a lot of just interesting things they're doing with their cartoons, I think, is really where they're shining right now.
So I have two things to say. One is that I feel like we've gotten way off track with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Not the podcast, but
No, I can't.
with like the Marvel stuff, right? Because it feels like it's just been forever and that we haven't seen. It used to be, it was like, oh, there's like 3 Marvel things a year, and now it's been like this entire year, and it's like, wait, there's nothing.
Yeah, there's been posts a lot where they're like, this is the first year since like 2008 almost there hasn't been a Marvel film. Yeah, and it's one of the weirdest thing is the highest grossing film really at the moment might be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, and then, but I also feel like when you look at that trailer for WandaVision, looks real strange,
really insane, really interesting.
And then there's like the stuff that they're doing with like Shang-Chi and the Immortals, and then that one with this kind of the outer space Game of Thrones thing or whatever that they're doing. Like, I feel like it could be interesting. It's just I feel like the last thing we saw was, in my opinion, a kind of mediocre Spider-Man movie, and then it was just like radio silence.
Yeah, we were supposed to get a Black Widow film, and it's the coronavirus has stopped all that. So like they keep delaying every movie in existence right now. Yeah, like they delayed Ghostbusters again until June.
So I think that you also, what I was trying to say before is you see this pattern where like if Disney plays it too safe, eventually the films will stop making money, and then they'll have to go out on a limb and they'll say, all right, well, it doesn't make any money, so let's just give the fucking MCU to Weird Al, and he'll do Phase 12.
Exactly.
And then Weird Al does a really good job. And they're like, oh, it's profitable.
Hell, Frozen was a random thing that they just decided on.
Yeah.
Like, that was a whim. Like, sure, they changed. It was supposed to be something else originally, but that's why they changed it to be something different. And it worked.
I really liked Moana. Moana's the last one that I really, really liked.
That one's really good.
Anyway, that's it. Michael's got to get out of here. Everybody, say goodbye to Michael. Also, check him out over at oneofus.net, and you can go to mailragesite.com's email address. You can still send in questions. I swear to God, I'm going to try to get us back under control. We answered 3. That's got to be enough. That's it. Bye. Bye, everybody. See you. Bye. Bye.